Game 3 of 5 on a 5-game homestand at Sinsheimer Stadium. It's Jersey night in San Luis Obispo, and the Blues look to bounce back after a loss last night against the Santa Barbara Foresters, a brutal 10-3 L against their rivals down south. They'll have a chance to catch a wave with the OC Riptide. Hello everyone and welcome inside the broadcast booth. Nate Mills alongside Ryan Giacomini. This is the Ancient Owl pregame show on SBSN. Sorry for no trigger warning for the pythons on coming out of my jersey here, but it is Jersey night. I'm wearing a Devin Booker Suns jersey, and Ryan's got something fun for us in store today too.
Yeah, currently wearing Mike Yastrzemski, one of my all-time favorite Giants, but I have 8 other jerseys I will be wearing tonight. And in every inning, I will be giving Nate a quiz about the player. Just one question. Most of them are basketball related, and as we mentioned last night, Nate is trying to up his ball knowledge with basketball, so it'll be a good test and help of the ball knowledge.
It's only fair that Ryan quizzes me. I feel like I quiz him all the time with college mascots and things of that nature, so tables are turning, and I will get exposed on my NBA ball knowledge here. Anyway, let's get into the content of the pregame show here. The Blues yesterday, the strikeouts were another issue for the offense. That's 2 games in a row now where the K's have been problematic for San Luis Obispo. And like we said before, 99 out of 100 times you're going to lose to the Santa Barbara Foresters if you strike out 10 or more times, and that was one of the 99 last night against Santa Barbara.
Yeah, the one was Tuesday night when they struck out 13 times and were able to come out of there with a 7-5 win, but last night, just at bats that, weren't as good. Even in those strikeouts in game 1, quality at bats, not 3-pitch strikeouts, 4-pitch strikeouts. They're working full counts, taking good hacks, being very situational. But last night, it was just a lot of ugly at bats. Blues 14 strikeouts, and they were only able to scratch across those 3 runs and a 7-run loss. That's something they need to improve on. I mean, the Foresters have a really good pitching staff, but today they're going to see a really gross southpaw going to Stanford next year.
And we'll get more into that a little bit later. And I want to give the offense a little bit of credit for San Luis Obispo. Drew Rarick, the right-hander from Texas, who started for Santa Barbara last night, was disgusting. 4 innings of work, allowed 2 hits, just one earned run, no walks, and 6 strikeouts. The stuff was working, and the Blues just couldn't catch up to it. They only drew 1 entire walk that whole evening, and it was Charlie Caruso in the 7th inning, finally getting the base on balls.
Yeah, a hit by pitch as well, but we're seeing a trend where they're moving away from the base on balls, and they're kind of being a little more aggressive with the swings, which, I don't dislike at all, but being patient up there, drawing walks, getting yourself into good hitters counts, that's something that could be very beneficial to this team. I think it's something that will be beneficial today, seeing pitches against the starter. I know I've mentioned him a few times now, and Nate mentioned we're going to go more into depth about his 3-pitch mix, but I think getting into hitters counts will be a huge benefit to the hitters today.
Trying to ambush early against this Riptide offense, but on the pitching side for San Luis Obispo, Eric Kvidal made his 2nd start of the summer for the Blues. The Cal Poly slow Mustang hasn't quite looked himself so far this summer, and the same sentiment continued last night against the Foresters. 4 innings of work, 8 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned, just 3 strikeouts and 1 walk. The Santa Barbara Foresters were all over him. I mean, it was literally night and day the last 2 games for Santa Barbara for their offense. I mean, they attacked early and often.
They're a team that's going to hit. You just have to hope that the amount of hard contact is minimal, and it was not last night. But what I love is that the only 1 walk. He did a pretty good job finding the strike zone. I will say, especially in that 2nd inning, a 4-run 2nd inning, if I'm not mistaken, a 3-run 2nd inning, excuse me, they were able to get it themselves into 2-1, 2-0, 3-1. Very good hitters counts. That Kvidal, which just wasn't finding the zone and able to take advantage there. But outside of that, I feel like he did a pretty good job pounding the zone, and that's kind of the name of the game in the CCL.
Last time the Blues played the Orange County Riptide, it was down in Irvine, California, and it was Kosei Suzuki at the last minute who hit a sacrifice fly the opposite way. Blues took the lead in the top of the 9th inning, then shut out the Riptide in the bottom half of that frame. A very stagnant game the whole time. 2 runs early on, and then a bunch of goose eggs scattered across everywhere. OC finally got their get back later in the game, tied it at 2, and then it was Kosei Suzuki with that sacrifice fly to take the lead and eventually win the game. Suzuki is in the starting lineup tonight But again, you want to have a more comfortable win against the Orange County Riptide, who are honestly struggling a little bit coming into today's game on a 2-game losing streak here, and they have a sub-500 record in conference play too.
Yeah, Suzuki's a guy who, middle of the order today, could spark the offense for the Blues. I think he is going to be a key factor. Last night he went 2 for 4 with 2 RBI doubles. The only Blue to have an extra base hit in last night's game. And I think really up and down, you look at this lineup, there's bats up and down. I mean, Diego Murillo, who's batting 9th, was our player of the week last week because he had a pair of doubles and a 4 for 10 effort in 3 games. And then you have Tollerman, and Gavin Smith gets another start. Same with Don Jordan after a day off, both of which had 3 hits 2 days ago against the Foresters. So this lineup, I would say everybody in the order is hitting the ball really well right now, and I'd love to see that translate to the Riptide tonight.
Good hitters 1 through 9, but they have one man standing in their way. Mike Erspamer, a left-hander committed to Stanford University, and this kid's gross.
Yeah, 3-pitch mix. It's a fastball. At least it's clocked as a fastball, but it's more of a sinker action with a slider and a changeup. Fastball heavy. You're going to throw that pitch about 50% of the time. And I said it's pretty much a sinker. It is almost 20 inches of vertical break, downwards vertical break, and it has about 14 inches of induced horizontal break. So it's going to drop about 1.5 feet down and a little over a foot in every single time. Very hard pitch to pick up. The slider and changeup, not as good of pitches, but he will go to them. He loves to pound the strike zone. That slider especially, he will hang that slider out over the middle of the plate. Sometimes it'll hang but be on the outer part of the plate, so the Blues have to be ready to hammer that slider when they see that little red spin from the seams and kind of sit on that sinker and only swing at it when needed.
The Blues have a lefty of their own going today, making his second start in a Blues uniform. Luke Kovac, another Cal Poly Mustang, who pitched against the Arroyo Saints before the Blues went down to their SoCal swing. 3 innings of work, 1 hit, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. Looked pretty good, and there's a chance for the Blues to have 3 days of Cal Poly starters in a row as Charlie Royal arrived yesterday on the scene at Sinsheimer Stadium. So should be a good pitching matchup tonight. The Blues looking to make it a heavy offensive day, though, as they look to bounce back from last night's loss against the Foresters. That'll do it from here on the Ancient Owl pregame show. Nate Mills and Ryan Giacomini on the call for you tonight on Jersey night. We'll send it back to the field and see you after this on the SLO Blues Streaming Network.
Girls Softball Association. She is 8-year-old Audrey Walsh. Jared Rosales. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the national anthem, which will be presented tonight by Lucy Peterson. We ask at this time that you would please stand and kindly remove your hats. Lucy?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
That's Lucy Peterson vocalizing the national anthem this evening. Here is the defensive lineup for the Blues. In right field, it's Kosei Suzuki. Center field is E.J. Royal. And left field, Gavin Smith. Coming in a little closer, it's Brendan Comerford at third.
Jersey Thursday, a thirsty Thursday, and a great day to be at the ballpark. The San Luis Obispo Blues host the OC Riptide. Third game of a 5-game homestand that wraps up on Saturday. Let's take a look
On the mound, the Cal Poly left-hander
at the lineup for the OC Riptide. Leading it off, it's a former Blue and the right fielder, Bradley Navarro. Then it's Jake Evans, the third baseman, followed by Carter Diaz. Cleaning it up, it's the catcher, number 9, Zach Crandall. Then it's the designated hitter, Grant MacArthur. The first baseman, Jonathan Rodriguez. Luke Johnson batting 7th and playing 2nd. Reed Montgomery batting 8th and left. And Tyler Holland to round it out. Defensively for the home team, the San Luis Obispo Blues, and the outfield from left to right, it'll be Gavin Smith, E.J. Royal, and Kosei Suzuki. On the infield from third to first, it's Comerford, Ardois, Murillo, and Zach Tollerman. And behind the dish, it is Nico Button with Don Jordan as today's designated hitter. A starter for the San Luis Obispo Blues, Luke Kovac.
Yeah, Kovac was filthy in his first start in a Blues uniform. The left-hander from Cal Poly pitched against the Arroyo Seco Saints before the Blues took the bus ride down to Southern California for that 3-game SoCal swing, and he looked great against the Saints. Just in 3 innings of work, honestly, he looked like he could have gone 3 more that night, but Dean Traynor wanted to limit his pitch count, so he just stuck with the 3 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. No runs allowed against the Saints, who are honestly one of the best teams in all of the California Collegiate League, ranked in the top 5 in the power rankings on the CCL website earlier this week. And it's another good contender here, the OC Riptide, a wounded OC Riptide, not literally, but coming in losing 2 games in a row. They're 7-8 in conference play. Blues with a chance to pounce.
Okay, in steps Bradley Navarro, the former Blue. Played a couple of games last year in the yellow and gold as he watches a first pitch ball outside. First pitch at 6:04 p.m. with game time temperatures at 69 degrees and sunny.
Nice.
Beautiful day for baseball. Fans continue to trickle in as Bradley Navarro rips that one to left field over the head of Gavin Smith. It one-hops the wall Gavin Smith will get it to the cutoff. A leadoff double for Bradley Navarro. We didn't have any time to really talk about him, but he leads the CCL in almost every statistical category, and he showed it there.
Yeah, he has been the best bat, without a doubt, in the California Collegiate League so far this summer. He just hammered his 4th double of this 2025 season, standing in scoring position for the Riptide, and that's how these Tides get going. Get Bradley Navarro on, and the rest is history. Gavin Smith, I think, took a wrong angle at first. He did a nice job adjusting with flipping those hips to his left side, but that baseball was just hit so hard, he didn't have a chance, even if there was a good jump from Gavin Smith.
Now it's Jake Evans, the dirtbag from Long Beach State, hailing from Long Beach, California, batting from the right side. Now from the stretch, Kovac misses in the dirt and trapped by Button behind the dish. This season, in his 11 games, Evans, a couple of RBIs on 5 hits and 28 at-bats. Finds himself in a 1-0 count against the lefty from Cal Poly. Slider is a called strike 1.
And there's that slider from Luke Kovac. That you're gonna see a lot of that from him. Pretty simple mix for Luke. Fastball, slider, change. As Jackson Howell gets loose in the pen for the Blues.
An arm getting loose early for San Luis Obispo. One look at second, now comes home. Slider is fouled back and into the grass seats behind home plate.
I mean, Dean Traynor, last time Luke Kovac went out there, did have a bullpen game, kind of. Kovac only pitching in 3 innings at his first Blues start, and as I said, could have gone a little longer. He is recovering from an ACL injury and a Tommy John before that in 2023.
1-2, misses inside. And Jaden Turner came in that game and threw 4 innings.
Kovac with light work this inning, too, in his Mustang season in 2025. Just 4 1/3 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts.
Pounding the strike zone at the Division I level, a team that made it to the regional championship. When misses low and the count runs full to the third baseman, Jake Evans.
I gotta wonder if Kovac's knee is still barking at him. I'm sure the arm is healed at this point. Surgery on December 6, 2023. It's almost 2 years ago now.
Here's the full count. Half swing, did he go? Called strike 3 by the home plate umpire. He said he went around. First out and a strikeout.
And that's what that slider does to those hitters. Tie them up. Whatever handedness you are, that sweeper does not discriminate.
Batting on number 13, Carter Dance.
Now it's Carter Dans, the center fielder for today. Two-way guy. Currently in the portal after playing last season with Charlie Caruso over at Northwestern. First pitch is a fastball. It misses low.
He and Caruso chopping it up during batting practice today. Nice to see those two get along and hang out before today's game. Northwestern, with all those intellectual guys on that team, it's easy to form a brotherhood when you have so many like-minded people.
There's a 1-0. Slider misses up. You know, we've had the pleasure of having Charlie Caruso here for, 3 weeks now?
Yep.
And he's a great guy. And when found out that him and Carter Dans played together and they're good buddies, I said immediately, that makes Dan's a good person too. If you're friends with Charlie Caruso, you just have to be a good person.
That is great logic.
2-0, fastball, called strike. Right around the knees to get the first strike to Carter Dans. Comes set, takes a long look. Navarro with a huge secondary. Blocked in the dirt by Button. It's 3-1.
Bradley was a Blue last summer, too. Only saw action in 5 games for San Luis Obispo. This was back when he was a Wolverine at Michigan. Since then, he went to Cypress College, tore it up, and is now committed to play at Utah.
Going to be a Ute in the fall. 3-1 is ripped to right field. Going back on it is Suzuki, and it's over the wall. A 2-run home run for Carter Dans. That one got out of here in a hurry.
Is 104 miles an hour for you hard enough?
Yes.
Riptide strike first on the 2-run bomb. This was mauled over Suzuki's head and right. Just tore the cover off that baseball. Nothing much more to say. This was barreled.
Number 9, the catcher, Zach Crandall.
Dans makes it hurt, gets himself in a hitter's count, gets a fastball in the hands, and turned quick on that pitch.
That's Carter's first home run of the summer, too.
His 5th and 6th RBIs, or excuse me, 6th and 7th RBIs on the summer as the OC Riptide lead 2-0, just like that, with one swing of the bat. And I got to say, that is the first time I've ever seen a lefty hit a home run out here, not in batting practice. Just a 1-0, slider that misses inside, 2-0.
Jariah Lewis, in my first year broadcasting for the Blues, a left-handed hitting outfielder who actually played for the Blues last year, played 2 years ago too. He hit one very similar to that 2 years ago. It was a little higher, but same look.
The 2-0 is sliced into right field, and it falls in front of Suzuki for a base hit. 3 hits in the first inning before recording 2 outs for the OC Riptide. They got a runner on first and Crandall for Grant MacArthur.
Yeesh, just one out here for Luke Kovac. He was dealing against the Saints the last time out there. Arroyo Secker is ranked above the Orange County Riptide in the standings, and yet the Tide are having a much easier time facing Kovac today than when he faced against the Saints.
The designated hitter now, Grant MacArthur. He watches strike 1 right around the knees. Kovac honestly doing a pretty good job finding the strike zone, but OC Riptide are just pounding the baseball thus far. Small lead off first. Comes home to MacArthur. That one misses inside. The Aces are free. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out, and a runner on first in the top of the first.
Yeah, and that's not a terrible miss from Luke Kovac right there, trying to pound the inner half of the zone. I love that aggressiveness, even after allowing those 3 hits and the long home run last batter.
Here's the 1-1 in the dirt, blocked by Button. Had a couple of nice blocks already here in the first inning to not allow extra 90s from the runners. The 2-1 is swung on and chopped foul right next to the dugout for the Riptide. MacArthur playing in the Big East for UConn. Last season there, 10 home runs, 520 slugging. Good numbers over there for the Huskies. Here's the 2-2. That one misses inside, gets away from Button, but not far enough for Crandall to advance.
Heartbreaking end of the season for Grant MacArthur. The Huskies were robbed of a regional appearance. They were ranked in the top 30, I believe, in RPI. They had a winning record and somehow didn't make it. They didn't win their conference, but they still had an option.
Full count is on the ground to Ardois. Ardois flips it to Murillo. Murillo to first. 6-4-3. The Blues get out of it, but the Riptide do some damage. Going into the bottom of the first, a 2-run shot from Carter Dans has them up 2-0 here on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom half of the first inning, the Blues already trail it 2-0 after Carter Dans sent one over the right field wall. The Blues are going to look to strike back, and it's going to be E.J. Royal leading off, trying to do so, followed by the shortstop Sam Ardois. And then it's the designated hitter John Jordan, who's playing after getting a day off yesterday. The first baseman Zach Tullerman, Gavin Smith, also had a day off yesterday and will also return to the lineup, followed by Kosei Suzuki, Brendan Comerford, Nico Button, and Diego Murillo to round it out. Last week's Player of the Week for the San Luis Obispo Blues, batting ninth in today's game. Now the defense for the OC Riptide. From left to right, it's Montgomery, Dans, and Navarro. On the infield from third to first, it's Evans, Holland, Johnson, and Rodriguez. And the catcher is Crandall with MacArthur as the designated hitter. Starting pitcher today is Michael Spammer. Talked a lot about him on the pregame show and how filthy his pitches are. We will get to it in just a second, but before we do that, and after the first pitch to E.J. Royal, Nate and I are going to come live into the broadcast booth so I can ask him his bottom of the first question about Mike Yastrzemski, who I'm wearing right now, his jersey. Here's the first pitch. Called strike around the knees. And so let's come inside the booth. And Nate, here's your question. Yaz broke out in 2020.
I remember that.
Slashing 297, 400, and 568.
Okay.
He led the league in triples with how many that season? Keep in mind, this was the shortened COVID season.
Ooh, led the league in
E.J.
triples.
E.J. Royal takes ball one.
Yeah, EJ in a 1-1 count right here. Led the league in triples.
Mm-hmm. How many did he hit as EJ rolls that one foul past his third base coach?
60 game season. He
Yeah.
played in. He played
in 54,
Okay.
I think, around there.
7.
No, 4.
Oh,
Yeah, not a big triple season. I know it was only 60 games. But
I didn't know if it'd be like crazy. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
EJ fouls that one back. Let's take it down, back to the field. 0 for 1. We're going to keep track. But that's
You
a
know
tough
what?
one. That's a
you know
tough
what,
one to
man?
start.
Should have gotten that one.
That's a tough one to start. But I figured for the baseball one, I was going to make it a little bit tougher because that's kind of your sport.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I like that question.
Here's the 1-2 to Royal. He misses inside, bouncing, and actually hit him in the back foot. So Royal kind of gets bailed out in a 1-2 count, getting hit by a pitch with the slider, and it's a leadoff base runner.
Yeah, right as we took it back into the broadcast booth, did you see the sinker on Mike Spammer? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's gross. That was almost a slider, so the viewers haven't got to see it yet.
Right.
They will, and I don't think they're going to pick their jaw up off the ground, or be able to, I should say.
Yeah, that was a nasty first pitch to EJ. He just watched that one go in and just kind of collected the data on that sinker.
I think that's about all you can do. Collect data and then hope you can hit it. There's the sinker, and it's fouled off by Ardois. So he's first pitch hacking at a pitch with over 14 inches of movement both down and in to righties. Or excuse me, it's going to go down and away to righties. Lefty move to first. Royal dives back. Ardois in yesterday's game was 0 for 3. Also had a strikeout. Actually 0 for his last 7. He did not get a hit against the Foresters in 2 games. He did walk in game 1. Another lefty move almost had EJ leaning. I should say they did have him leaning, but Royal was able to dive back just in time.
And it was a close play. EJ just kind of 50-50. Which way should he go? Luckily for Royal, he got his hand in there in time.
Seen the move a couple of times now. Here's the 0-1. Ardois takes the sinker high. 1-1.
Sammy 13 Ks to his 4 walks this summer. That's an issue we saw in the spring with Louisiana and last summer with the Blues. Trying to correct that here, but as you said, Ryan, in the midst of a 7 at-bat schneid.
Here's the 1-1. Swung on and popped up. Might be playable for the catcher. Crandall goes back and cradles it over his left shoulder to make the grab.
And one of the more demoralizing outs you will ever have as a hitter. It is one of the worst feelings in the world to pop out to the catcher. What I do like, though, is Sam Ardois' approach in that at-bat. He wasn't afraid of that sinker. He was going to go after it. He was hacking it. Just that time, he got just a little underneath it. It was an easy play for Crandall behind home plate to make.
Now it's Don Jordan. Don got a day off yesterday after winning Dog of the Day on Tuesday night in the 7-5 win against the Forsters. He went 3 for 5, a 3-hit day, as he swings and fouls the first pitch back. 3-hit day, 2 of which were doubles. And he had 2 RBIs, scored twice. He also had a strikeout in that game, but overall, another incredible performance for Don Jordan. He's had a couple of those this summer.
Yeah, the kid's raking this year. 373 batting average and a 904 OPS.
Another move to first. And he was a Longhorn this last year with UT. Now is in the transfer portal, looking for a new place to play this upcoming season with 4 years of eligibility. Here's the 0-1 that misses up and away. 1-1. Leads the team in hits. Leads the team in doubles. He's up there with the team lead in OPS, top 5, at least of those with at least 50 at-bats. Here's the 1-1, misses high. Royal, a super late steal, and he is caught stealing at second. Unsure of what happened to E.J. Royal at first base, but he got such a late jump.
It's back-to-back nights where Royal has been caught stealing. You don't see that often. E.J. usually gets great jumps. That time he continued to go after maybe slipping over at first base.
2-1 count now with nobody on and 2 outs at Don Jordan. Big swing and a miss for a strike 2, and the deuces are wild. Let's take another look at that Royal steal in slow motion and see kind of what happened to him over there. Pitch was in, and yeah, he didn't take off before until the ball was almost in the glove of the catcher. The 2-2, a slider just misses. And the count runs full to Don Jordan.
Yeah, Don, that pitch didn't miss by much. Might have gotten a call there. Now you have to battle a 3-2 count. Walk or knock for the kid right here.
Here's the pitch. Swung on and popped up out of play. Crandall will not be able to get that one.
I think it's kind of funny that the infield on the right side of second base is shifting to the away side of the right-handed hitting Don Jordan. This kind of goes to show you his ability to go to all fields, and he can place the baseball wherever he wants. The second baseman Johnson and the first baseman Rodriguez kind of hugging that right field line, and you can see Navarro somewhat shifted over there too. Navarro is also playing deeper than any other outfielder for the Tide.
A very similar player to Royal in the fact that he can just put it wherever he wants. Here's the full count offering. Misses inside, ball 4. 2 very close sliders that Don Jordan take for a walk. The Blues have a 2-out base runner in Don Jordan, and they've already matched their walk total from last night.
And that slider Jordan took was identical to ball 3 that was called. Nice job on the home plate umpire, staying consistent there. I thought the zone would expand a little bit more, especially with 2 strikes. And Jordan draws the walk here in the first inning.
Now it's Tollerman, Spartan from San Jose State. After playing at UC Riverside, he rips the first pitch into left field for a base hit. Jordan will trot his way into second, and 2 on with 2 out for Gavin Smith.
And I'm telling you, this kid, Zach Tellerman, has been on fire ever since he arrived to San Luis Obispo a little later. And his ninth start with the Blues, he's hit his 9th base hit. Driven in 3 runs, too.
He's also a guy who just doesn't strike out all that much. Gavin Smith steps in. Crimson batting gloves, batting against the lefty Spalmer, who's now given up 3 base runners here in this early inning. Spalmer's only given up 1 earned run in his 15 innings of work. Gavin Smith rips that one down the left field line, but foul.
That makes plenty of sense why he's only allowed 1 earned run when you look at the stuff. A walk and a single, though, and back-to-back plate appearances for the Blues, though. They're trying to cook here.
Gavin Smith, second on the team in RBIs, has an opportunity to bring his total to 15 with the speedy Jordan on second. In the 0-2, he watches a fastball right at the knees for strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, Gavin Smith, as the Blues are unable to get a run. And the Riptide lead it 2-0 after 1 inning. And Nate is 0 for 1 on his sports trivia knowledge, as we will head to break here on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. Back here in the second inning, 2-0 tied. Scored 2 off of a 2-run home run by Carter Dans, his first home run of the summer. It'll be Rodriguez, Johnson, and Montgomery due up against Kovac in his second inning of work.
The homer was sent to Avila Beach, by the way.
The 0-0 is popped foul. And out of play for the kiddos to get to into the Riptide bullpen.
Were you a foul ball fiend as a kid?
Like, yeah, Little League games for sure, but that's because my Little League offered lollipops or airheads. So you get a foul ball and you bring it back to the snack shack.
Compensate.
Yeah, exactly. There's the 0-1. It's lined up the middle, and a one hop is Artois spinning and throwing. Oh my goodness, Sam Artois.
That was suave as it gets. A real tough hop, a hard ricochet off the rough infield from Rodriguez. Artois gloved it right at the waist. Athletic spin over to first. Tillman with the stretch for the cherry on top.
A beautiful play from Sam Artois, and we talk sometimes about how he can be a little extra, be a little flashy. That time, nothing flashy. Just made the play that had to be made. Put a little spin on it, but it's kind of what you're taught to do, as that one is ripped. Similar spot, but hit way harder, and it's going to be a base hit. Gets through the wickets of E.J. Royal, and trying to stretch it to second is Luke Johnson. He will get to second safely, a single and an error.
That's some good hustle there from Luke Johnson. That's how you run the bases, kids. You never take a step off. Hustle all the time, and that's why you go full speed ahead around first base, because you never know. Luke Johnson stealing an extra 90 feet from Luke Kovac, no relation.
E.J. Royal, with his first error of the summer, allows Johnson an extra 90 feet. Will be ruled as a single and an error. Now it's Reed Montgomery, also batting from the left side against the lefty Kovac. First pitch slider is a called strike on the outer part of the plate. Good pitch there to dot the outside. Montgomery, noted in our Nate and I's page, he's jacked. Check out the Instagram. The 0-1 is swung on and hit well the other way. Going back on it is Smith, now camping under it and gloving it with one hand for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, no amount of muscles could get this one out. Off the end of the bat, and a couple of backwards pedals from Gavin Smith, able to make the play for the second out.
Good bounce back after giving up the hard hit single by Kovac.
Number 1, the shortstop.
As now nobody is getting loose in the Blues bullpen. Maybe Howell was just having some fun down there, getting some extra pitches in.
They looked like intentful reps.
It's Tyler Holland, the shortstop. Takes a slider for ball 1, buckling his knees. The redshirt freshman, the Omahogs. Is that Arkansas? Batting a .167 this summer with the OC Riptide down south. Here's the 1-0. This one is popped up. Possibly playable for Nico Button. He ranges towards the netting, throws the mask, and makes the grab about 5 feet away from the backstop. A base hit, stranded on second. The Blues will head into the bottom of the second inning, trailing by 2. As I remind you that this half inning is brought to you by Educational Employees Credit Union. Bottom of the second, Kosei Suzuki leads it off as we welcome you back inside the broadcast booth. And I'm in a New Jersey. Got my Jimmy Butler Miami Heat jersey number 2 on the day. And this one's a little special now because Jimmy Butler's a Warrior, which is my favorite team. I bought this probably 4 years ago now. So I will ask Nate the question about Jimmy Butler after this pitch to Kosei Suzuki. It is a called strike at the knees.
Believe it or not, Ryan and I were not in frats.
Not in frats.
Yeah. If you just look at us, I know we fit the mold. Yeah.
Okay, this one might be an easy one. But how many teams has Jimmy Butler played on? And bonus point if you can name them. As Kosei Suzuki takes ball 1.
Okay, so while I follow the NBA in the background, that changes this year. Jimmy Butler is one of my favorite players.
Okay.
So he started out as a Bull.
Yes. Kosei Suzuki rips that one into center field, but right at the center fielder, Dans, for the first out.
So he started as a Bull.
Yes.
He went to the Timberwolves. Then he went to the Sixers.
Yes.
Then he went to the Heat. Then he went to the Golden State Warriors. 5 teams.
Ding, ding, ding. 5 teams, and he got them all and in order.
That's right.
So Nate is now 1 for 1 on the day.
I'm a big Jimmy Buckets guy.
With a bonus point for guessing all the teams.
I'll get a bonus point?
Yeah. So 2 points, Nate.
Wow. So I redeem myself.
You redeem yourself.
So I'm technically 2 of 2.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If I got Yastrzemski, I would be 3 of 2.
Yeah. You'd be batting over 1,000.
Yeah, that's right.
Comerford steps in now. Looked at ball 1, the pitch prior. That one is fouled back, 1-1. Good job, Nate.
Thanks.
That's definitely, I would say, it helped that you're a fan, but I'd say that's probably one of the easier questions of the day too. So good to get some points under your feet, under your belt.
Well, I'm glad to get the extra point too, because I feel like it might save me later down the road.
Yes. Nate did say he thinks he could get 4 points. Is that changed after going?
After getting the extra credit,
Yeah.
I think I can get 5 or 6.
I think that's the only bonus point. Let me double check. Yeah, that's the only bonus point. I might give you a bonus point. There's a couple where like I'm giving you some leniency because you have to guess like the exact points per game or something like that. And if you guess it on the money, you can get bonus points. For that. Yeah. Slider is a called strike 2. It is a 2-2 count to the third baseman, Brendan Comerford. He went 0 for 2 in yesterday's game before being pinch hit for by Jake Hicksonbaugh. Had a strikeout. Leads the CCL in strikeouts. Here's the 2-2. Misses inside for ball 3. Comerford narrowly dodges, increasing that lead in strikeouts. There's a guy who can hit the baseball hard, however. Playing really well this summer for the Blues and gets hit on the shoulder for a hit by pitch, and I know that did not feel good. It made the sound as if it almost hit off the bat. That was just did not feel good.
God, that didn't sound good either. Brendan Comerford's wearing the Evo shield on his elbow. I think that's what it hit mostly. He is reeling, and that's some athletic trainers coming out there. Comerford's he's a tough kid. So whenever you see him genuinely in pain, that's how you know it really caught him in a bad spot. I see he's already smiling.
Shakes out the arm, sends our ATs away, one of which is wearing a Kevin Durant jersey, the other Max Crosby.
Okay.
Both beer stations.
The Raiders.
Give you a hint too. I'll tell the fans. I think you already know this. I have a Kevin Durant jersey for later in the game. We'll have a Kevin Durant question at some point.
Okay. Current son.
Current son. The question.
No, former son. He's a Rocket.
Yes, that's true. His question is not about his time on the Suns, I will tell you that.
Uh-oh.
The first pitch to Nico Button is a mile high into shallow left field for Montgomery. He will grab it for the second out. Cal backstop is out on one pitch, and now it's Diego Murillo.
Really good last season at Northeastern State. A 287 average, 4 homers, 11 doubles, 2 triples, driving in 35 with his 58 hits. Some coaching changes. He's entered the portal since.
Not a guy who looks like he can slug, but he can, as he hits this one just as high as Buttons. In foul territory is Evans, and he will make it. A hit by pitch. And then 2 pitches later, Espalmer is out of the inning, a fly out and a pop out. We will head to the top of the third inning. Blues down 2-0 on the Slow Blues streaming network.
We'll see the signboard.
Bradley Navarro to lead it off, top of the order for the OC Riptide. Navarro ripped a double his first time up against Kovac, who's back out there for inning number 3 of work. First pitch to Navarro is a slider that misses just up.
Yeah, Navarro tends to do that, rip doubles. That was his 4th of the summer.
Hottest hitter of anyone in the CCL, continued that with his double. 1-0 pitch.
Continuing his tear of the CCL as he watches ball 2 down. Navarro at Michigan got 60 at-bats. Didn't have a great season, so went to Cyprus to play with the Chargers, where, yeah, he had a good year as that one is ripped to left field. On the run is Smith in foul territory. He'll make the grab. Gavin Smith ranging into foul territory as his hat fell off for the first out of the inning.
And that was a good catch. A lot of hang time on that fly ball from Brad Navarro. I think that bought time for Smith to race into foul territory and make the catch. That's a tough angle to get at in left field, and he was able to make the play, scaling the wall too. I thought for a second there he might have to slide into it feet first. He stays on his feet, makes the grab.
Now it's Jake Evans, the infielder from Long Beach State, who played in 33 games this last year. Swings at the first pitch and chops it to Comerford at third. His throw over to first is a strong one and on the money. 2 quick outs for Luke Kovac after 2 elongated innings.
Yeah, it's just what the doctor ordered, just as you said, Ryan. A 2-run homer in the first, and then that single from Luke Johnson in the second inning. He moved to second on that error. Very refreshing to get 2 quick outs here.
Now it's Carter Dans. We'll see what approach Kovac has for the man who crushed an 104-mile-an-hour home run in his last at-bat. And talked about it. I personally have never seen a ball go out to left. Nate has seen it once on a very similar-looking swing. And the wind is blowing left to right today, which means that any ball hit to right field, or sorry, it's blowing right to left. So any ball hit to right field is just going to die a little bit. But that one was hit so hard and so low, it stayed out of any wind stream. Just snuck over the wall. Finds himself behind 0-2 very quickly after that slider from Luke Kovac. A strike away from getting through 3 innings of work. Dan's his 3rd extra base hit of the summer with that home run. Now 8 for 26 on the summer. Putting himself together a pretty good tenure with the Riptide thus far as he watches ball 1. Now misses up. His last year for Northwestern, appeared in 12 games. Started once in left field and once on the mound, a utility guy. Worked 3 1/3 scoreless innings against Illinois. As we are 0-2 to 3-2 to Dans. He also worked 2 innings against Northern Illinois and had a pair of strikeouts in that game. That was on April 15th. Full count pitch, slider that misses high. Up 0-2 to Carter Dans, and then he didn't take the bat off the shoulder for 4 straight pitches and draws himself a 2-out walk.
Your first walk of the day from Luke Kovac, too. It comes with 2 outs. You don't want to give up walks in any scenario here, but it hurts that much more when there's 2 gone and you're so close to getting back on offense.
Howell was loose in the first, but since then we haven't seen a Blues pitcher make any pitches for the Blues, as Kovac will check over at first, and Dans is back standing. Dans has a stolen base this summer, just 1. First pitch to Crandall is fouled. He was late on it. That one is ripped up the middle.
call for a base
A
hit.
very hard hit base hit, and this one gets through the legs of E.J. Royal. Rounding third and scoring is Carter Dance. Two very uncharacteristic plays from E.J. Royal. That one cost the Blues a run.
Yeah, you don't see that often from EJ. That's a play he makes most of the time. Second error of the day from Royal. Just having an off night out there in center field. I will say, though, fielding a ground ball in the outfield is harder than you think. It's very easy to get it domed up and overthink the play, especially after making an error in the second inning. He makes another one here. It's kind of hard to stop the slippery slope of that mentality. When you miss one, you think, is it going to happen again?
First pitch to Grant MacArthur, misses high. And yeah, I mean, it is definitely a tough mentality thing. I just don't think I've ever seen E.J. Royal make an error before.
No.
I believe these are the first two errors, at least that I can remember, that I've seen in my 2 summers with the Blues. Very, very uncharacteristic. It's the 1-0. It's a ball. MacArthur grounded into a double play last time. It was a very well hit. It was just right at Ardois on one hop.
And you don't want to say it's the Y word out there in center field or any part of the outfield, but it's a cousin of it for sure.
That one is a called strike.
Once you see one go underneath the wickets out there in the outfield, you're honestly afraid another one's going to happen. And when you're approaching the baseball, you're going anything but it going underneath the glove tends to go underneath the glove.
See if EJ maybe starts dropping to a knee on these base hits to keep a better backstop, so to say. The 2-1 is ripped. This one again at Ardois, and it gets under his glove for a base hit. An RBI single for Grant MacArthur, his first hit of the evening, and that error is really costly.
Yeah, 2-out rally here for the Tide. Back-to-back singles, scoring a couple runs for OC. They extend 4-0. This one was hit hard off the bat of Grant MacArthur. A tough play for Sam Ardois. Will go as a base hit, though it went past his glove. Nothing Sam can really do there. Too hot to handle, fresh out the oven. 4-0 Tide.
Speaking of too hot to handle, another reality love show that I know you've been watching, Love Island.
You know what's funny?
What's up?
I haven't been watching.
Really? I thought you had been. I think everybody else in the world is, maybe then except us.
Yes.
First pitch to Rodriguez is a strike. Have you in the past? I feel like we've talked about
I have
it.
in the past.
Okay.
Ever since it moved to a new streaming platform, I have not, because I do not have.
It's on Peacock?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the 0-1. This one is chopped. Murillo will make the play on the outfield grass sidearm throw to Tollerman for the third out. A walk, a costly error by E.J. Royal, his second of the game, and then an RBI base hit. The Foresters doubled their lead heading into the bottom of the third inning. Nate and I will be back in the studio to start the half inning. I got a new jersey on.
Right Side Pizza, go to the marketing tent and pick up your prize.
We are back in the studio as I am wearing a new jersey. Let me introduce it. It's a Joel Embiid jersey, one of these throwback Philadelphia jerseys.
I liked those.
I do too.
People didn't like them.
See, I was a big collector. I'm not a big Embiid fan, but he was
Okay.
like the best player on the team at the time, liked the jersey, and I used to collect. So here we are. So his question, as in stepping into the box, is EJ Royal. He watches ball one. Question for Joel Embiid. He was the 2022-2023 NBA MVP.
Okay.
How many points per game did he average that season? This is one of the ones I'm going to give you a buffer. I'll give you a half a point in either direction. So, for example, if he averaged 15 points per game and you guessed 14 and a half, you would get it correct.
Okay, it wasn't that.
Yes.
It was 28 and a half.
No, you're not that close either.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you're 5 points off. He averaged 33.1.
What?
He led the league in free throws made that season with 10 per game.
I was like, what?
Royal nubs that one softly back to the pitcher. The throw is offline. Royal will have a 2-bag error to lead off the inning. Cruises in the second. An E1 that gives Royal 180 feet, and the second time he's been a leadoff base runner.
You know a good benchmark for me on that when I think of MVP seasons and a good points per game is that clip of Stephen A. Smith when they asked him, is James Harden an efficient scorer? And Stephen A. goes, he's averaging 40!
Yeah. James Harden famously averaged 38 that season in his MVP year.
Sun Devil.
Remarkable.
Here's Sam Ardoin at the plate.
I was kind of surprised that you went that low.
Because, yeah.
That is, I mean, I get it. I get it for sure. Shea averaged 33.4 this year in his MVP year. Also known for shooting a lot of free throws, as swinging and fouling off the first pitch is Ardois.
The thing is, it makes more sense that Embiid had more free throws because he's a big man. He gets underneath the rim.
Yeah.
Be part of the rescue race.
I don't know the exact number too, but if I had to guess, he probably averaged about 3 or 4 offensive rebounds a game too. So he's missing, he's just constantly under the rim, missing shots, getting his rebound, and then maybe getting fouled on the second attempt. As Ardois slices that one foul, 0-2. As well, here, I'll give you a little context. Shaquille O'Neal had an MVP season, and Shaquille O'Neal not known for scoring, but this year he led the league in scoring and averaged 29.7. That was a really good year for him, a non-scoring center. Embiid averaged 4 points more than him. 0-2 to Ardois with Royal on second, swinging and fouling that one back off the mitt of the catcher Crandall is Ardois. Royal stands on second after reaching via an error. He took second on that same error. He was hit by pitch and caught stealing in the first. Ardois, who's at the plate, popped out to the catcher. Here's the 0-2 slider that floats up above the zone. 1-2.
Now, Blues will take anything right now, especially with Sam Ardois up as the battery has a meeting on the mound. Sammy just wanted to put in a ball play here, and it was a good take right there on the 0-2. It was an enticing slider that just kind of spun outside of the zone and never broke inside. That was a good lead from Sammy. Speaking of hoops, I do have some Cal Poly basketball news. Former Mustang Kobe Sanders has been drafted.
By who?
After this pitch.
Teasing me, man. Dancing off second. Royal, the 1-2. Called strike 3. A delayed called strike 3 to Sam Ardois. He does not agree. Second strikeout of the day. Both of them called.
Yeah, it was a good sinker that time to Ardois. Just kind of tied him up. It started in the middle of the zone, then broke below it. Obviously, it held on just enough to paint the lower black of the strike zone. Ardois goes down looking. Here comes Don Jordan with the runner in scoring position.
Bando up. I don't know if we've ever shared this with the viewers inside Move No Throw as to why Don's nickname and his Instagram handle is Bando. Do you know why?
I do know why.
Yeah.
I want to tell you where Kobe Sanders went, though.
Okay. Should we say it at the same time? Jordan hits that one off the end of the bat. It's going to be playable for Rodriguez to step into foul territory. I'll tell you about Bando real quick as he pops out and heads back to the dugout. It's because he has money in his pocket while he plays, and I don't know the exact amount, but I would have to guess at least $100 because, I mean, band, 100, I feel like that kind of goes.
A band is 1,000, no?
There's no way he has $1,000.
He doesn't, but I'm saying, like,
yeah, that's
typically.
True. That's true. I feel like knowing Don, it's definitely not like $2, though.
No, it's definitely more. Well, I'd like to introduce you to the new Los Angeles Clipper,
Whoa.
Kobe Sanders. Former Cal Poly Mustang a couple seasons ago, transferred to the University of Nevada, Reno this past year.
What pick did he go?
1 second. 51.
51. Tallman skies that one. Towering into left field. Montgomery hustling in and getting under it for the third out of the inning. And he's projected to go 51. The analyst got that one right, and the Clippers got a good player. We head to the top half of the fourth inning. I'll send it over to my partner and my pal for the last 6 innings of this ball game here on the SLO Blues Streaming Network.
Luke Johnson leads it up in the top of the fourth inning. The Blues trail 4-0 against the Orange County Riptide. It's Johnson, Reed, Montgomery, and Tyler Holland due up for Orange County. The bottom of the third of the order for the Tide. First pitch, and it's taken for strike one against Johnson, 0-1. Luke, the second baseman, batting seventh, hit a single the last time he was up in the second inning, and he reached second base on an error from E.J. Royal in center field. A ground ball that went underneath his glove. He tried to field it in the grass and just couldn't come up with it. 0-1, and a curveball wrinkles on the outer half for strike two. Kovac attacking with the secondary and the four-seam fastball. We saw Jackson Howell warming up a little bit earlier in this ballgame. Now we see Hawk Hill in the pen for the Blues. Here's the 0-2. Fastball misses high, a ball and two strikes to Luke Johnson. Luke Kovac in his first start in the Blues uniform just pitched in 3 innings. He's entering inning number 4 for San Luis Obispo. Here's the 1-2. Slider dribbled to the shortstop Artois, who charges it, makes the throw on the run to Telemann at first in time to retire Luke Johnson for the first out of the fourth inning.
Artois made a couple of really nice plays out there at shortstop so far today. It's his third ball that he's fielded. One that was hit really hard and he fielded and was able to turn a double play right there. He'll charge that one and get Luke Johnson.
Here's Reed Montgomery, the left-handed hitting outfielder from Long Beach State. And Ryan and I mentioned it the last at-bat, but if you think you're jacked, he's got more muscles than you do.
You're not. Today's not a good day for Nate and I both to be wearing sleeveless jerseys.
No.
Both puny compared to this man.
Slider misses inside, 1-0 to Montgomery. The dirtbag from Long Beach State appeared in 34 games in the outfield and started 13 times in 2025 as a freshman. 1-0 high and outside, 2 balls and no strikes. His first season of college baseball in 2024, he actually redshirted. Sat out the season with the Dirtbags and played his first season of Division I baseball last year. Kovac delivers. And the pitch is in there for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike to Reed Montgomery. The left fielder in his second at bat today. The last time he was out, he popped out to the left fielder, Gavin Smith. With a closed off stance in the batter's box, right in the middle of that chalk, the 2-1. And he'll take it just off the plate outside. 3 balls and 1 strike to Montgomery. Reed entered today's game with a .265 batting average, 9 hits in his 34 at-bats, and he's making his 10th appearance for the Riptide this summer. Ahead against Kovac, the pitch. Fastball just misses low, and that's ball 4. Second walk of the day issued from Luke Kovac, and with 1 out, there's a runner at first base for the Riptide.
And we know Kovac has some sort of pitch count. Unsure of what it is. There's another pitcher getting loose for the Blues. It's Hawk Hill. So we've seen Howell, Hill, and Turner all get loose for San Luis Obispo so far today.
Kovac still in the game, exceeding his innings from last game, which was 3. He's in inning number 4. And it's Tyler Holland, the shortstop, batting righty. First pitch to Holland is a called strike. Tyler in his first at-bat popped out to the catcher, Nico Button, to retire the side in the second inning.
Kovac will be throwing pitch number 38 right here. Or sorry, excuse me, 58.
Been pretty efficient so far. As he comes set and lefty moves over to first. Montgomery's back in time with the head first slide. Holland, a Razorback from Arkansas, redshirted his first season in Fayetteville. He attended Mission Viejo High School in Orange County. That's a really, really good high school for sports. First pitch, he flinches on a fastball. It's a called strike, 0-1. The 50th ranked shortstop in the state of California by perfect game. California All-Region second team in 2024 according to perfect game as well. With a slightly open stance, Kovac picks over to first again and Montgomery's in there safely. 4-0 ball game. The Tide lead the Blues. We've entered the middle third of this ball game at Sinsheimer Stadium, which started just about an hour ago at 6:04 p.m. Temperatures have dropped a few degrees as the runner takes off to second. Nico Button comes up firing and 1 hops to second base. The throw gets into center field. Royal gloves it, now launches it to third. That throw is late. It gets behind Comerford. The runner Montgomery stays at third. It will be out of play, and Reed will score.
That is 2 errors on 1 play that give the Riptide another run. Stolen base, E2, E8. Royals' 3rd error.
And just a brutal break there for the Blues. 4 errors on the night. This is fresh off an evening where they didn't record a single one against the Foresters. That was the 3rd game of the summer last night where the Blues didn't record a single error. And they come back 24 hours later, they got 4.
Striking out was Holland as well.
So now 2 outs as the best hitter in the CCL steps in and takes ball 1 outside. So Holland struck out. That's the 2nd K of the day for Luke Kovac, but all of that masked by another run coming in the score for the Riptide. The pitch is popped up into center field. EJ gets underneath it, collects himself, and makes the one-handed grab for the 3rd out of the inning. A pair of errors in this inning. We enter the bottom half of the 4th inning. Blues down 5-0 now against the Riptide, as this next inning is brought to you by Ancient Owl Beer Garden and Bottle Shop. Bottom of the fourth inning is brought to you by our friends at Ancient Owl Beer Garden and Bottle Shop, just down the road from Sinsheimer Stadium. Ancient Owl is the home of the Blues Watch Party all season long. Come watch home games and share a cold one with friends at Ancient Owl. Choose your beer wisely. Bottom of the fourth, Blues trail 5-0. We head back into the broadcast booth. Ryan's got another question for me. He's wearing, I think, my favorite jersey in his collection, Klay Thompson, San Francisco throwback jersey for the Golden State Warriors.
One of mine as well. My favorite player of all time. When I played, I modeled my game after him. I was a 3-and-D guy, like he was before he tore his ACL twice. And this question comes before his ACL tear. Back 2016, so 9 years ago.
This is when I first started watching basketball a little bit, so I should be able to get this.
So he had 60 points in a game in 2016, and he famously was known for having 60 points.
This one's sent into left field, and Montgomery will make the play.
He was famously known for only taking a certain amount of dribbles to score 60 points.
Oh my God, I've heard this before. You told me if I have heard this, then I will get it.
Do you know it?
I have two numbers in my head.
Okay.
And I'll go with the larger one. I have two numbers. Which one do I go with? 6 dribbles.
What's the other one?
11.
It was 11.
Oh! Come on.
11 dribbles. I'll give you a point if you could tell me what team it came against.
The Rockets?
No, the Celtics.
Oh, okay.
On the road at the Garden.
Oh, the playoffs?
No. It was a regular season
okay,
game.
Otherwise, it would have been a silly guess.
And you had it. You had it, dude.
Chat, this is another example here to go with your gut. Trust your intuition. Your intuition's usually right. Kosei Suzuki in a 3-0 count against Espalmer. Man, that's a frustrating one, man.
That's okay, because the whole point of this is I know you want to get into basketball, and I'm a big basketball guy, so we're just getting your knowledge up.
Yeah.
So even though you thought it was...
Here's a called strike to Kosei.
Even though you thought it was 11, said 6, at least you know you'll never forget now that it was 11.
Well, I do remember the reason 11 was in my head, because it happened. But, yep, there you go. He wore number 11. Suzuki off the hand, sends it out of play for strike 2.
Yeah, I loved watching Klay Thompson. I got into basketball right around 2012, and he was drafted in 2010. When I started playing, he was the second guy behind Curry for the Warriors, which is my favorite team. And, man, I just loved the way he played.
Here's the payoff. Kosei pops it up into shallow center field. Dan sprints in, and he gets called off by Johnson, the second baseman, who makes the grab for the second out of the inning. Klay Thompson, I would say the purest mechanics in the NBA.
I mean, Steph is obviously the best shooter of all time.
Yes.
But Steph does some miraculous, crazy things with his body to contort it and make shots just go in. Klay, every single time he shot the ball, same wide stance, same form every single time. Just gorgeous.
Cougar from Washington State, as Comerford digs in. He's a Bulldog from Gonzaga. Not too far from Washington State as he swings and misses for strike 1. Pullman, Washington is where Washington State is located. Spokane is about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive. This is high, 1-1 to Comerford. The terrain is not what you think it is when you think of Washington. Here's the 1-1. Comerford grounds it up the middle, and it rolls into center field, a base hit. Second knock of the day for the Blues, and it comes with 2 outs in the 4th.
Really good piece of hitting, return to sender. The pitcher, Espalmer, was not very happy with himself. He wanted to glove that, but it just snuck underneath. And a 2-out hit. Button has to take the shin pads off and get up there for his at-bat.
Here's Nico Button, who popped out to the left fielder Montgomery the last time he was up. The left-handed hitting catcher now has Brendan Comerford at first base. And his twin with baby blue batting gloves on his hands. With an open stance and a runner on first base, the pitch. Button takes the first offering for a called strike, 0-1. Nico, the only left-handed batter in tonight's lineup, batting 8th for the Blues with 2 outs. San Luis Obispo trails by 5 against the OC Riptide at home. Here's the 0-1. Button pops it up off the hands, and the second baseman Johnson takes a couple steps in and makes the grab to retire the side. Comerford stranded on first base following his 2-out single, and the Blues trail 5-0 as we head into the 5th on the SLO Blues Streaming Network.
This is fun. We have 2 teams of adults.
Top of the 5th inning at Sinsheimer Stadium. The Blues trail 5-0 against the Orange County Riptide, and a new pitcher for San Luis Obispo. On the hill, it's Hawk Hill, the right-hander, relieving Luke Kovac of his duties. The lefty starter for San Luis Obispo went 5 innings of work, allowing 5 hits, 5 runs, only 2 of them earned, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. So it's Hill on the mound, and the first pitch is a called strike, 0-1 to Jake Evans, who is 0 for 2 today. Evans, the third baseman, struck out swinging in the first and grounded Comerford at third in the 3rd inning. Pitch is missing downstairs, 1-1. And it looks like a pinch hitter actually coming in for Jake Evans, Camden Sauce. Sauce takes outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. So Evans' day is done after an 0 for 2 afternoon. And Camden's a Horned Frog from Texas Christian who made a few appearances for TCU. Pops it up here, playable on the left side of the infield. Comerford gets called off by the shortstop Artois, who makes the flat-footed grab for the first out of the inning.
Take a look at the bottom of your program, ladies and gentlemen.
So Sauce comes in to replace Jake Evans at third base, and right off the bench, he pops out to the shortstop in Sam Artois. Kind of curious as to why Jake Evans is being substituted out. Didn't look like he got hurt or anything.
I mean, 0 for 2 maybe? I don't know. It doesn't sound like he made an error or something like that.
Small sample size. First pitch off the hands of Carter Dans. Comerford has a beat and foul ground, and he makes the squeeze for the second out of the 5th inning.
Start from Hawk.
Quick work here in the 5th inning for Hawk Hill, as Zach Crandall digs in. He's a perfect 2 for 2 today. An RBI single in the 3rd and a single in the 1st. 2 gone, and here's Crandall. Zach takes for strike 1. Crandall from UC Irvine, as he cues it off the end of the bat and rolls it foul. Before that, a JUCO bandit at Orange Coast College, one of the premier junior college baseball teams in not just California, but the country. Talk about the Orange Empire Conference. That's one that is known throughout the nation as producing some pretty legit baseball talent. Went to Utah and played for the Utes after that, but didn't see any action. 0-2. Crandall takes high, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Hawk Hill has struggled a little bit for the Blues this summer and looking to bounce back today against a Riptide team that's banging.
1-2. Crandall will leave that low one inside for ball 2. Everyone in the facility thought that was a strike, except for the home plate umpire, and everyone retreated towards the dugout, but now back into position. Hill stands in from the shadows, the 2-2. Fastball, it's grounded as Artois at short, who's getting a lot of reps today. Flings it over to Tolman in time, and the side is retired. Hawk Hill faces the minimum in his first inning of work in the top of the 5th inning. Halfway through, it's Sinsheimer as we head into the bottom half of the frame. Blues trail 5-0 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom of the 5th at Sinsheimer Stadium, the Blues trail 5-0 against the Orange County Riptide. 9-1-2 due up for the Blues, and Ryan's donning a brand new Hoops jersey for us.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Those are pretty.
That is a pretty jersey. I love the blue on blue, which we've talked about before. Very pretty jersey. And your question is, I'll let you introduce the batter as I get my sheet of paper out here.
It's Diego Murillo, the right-hander in the transfer portal after a season at Northeastern State. First pitch to Murillo. Misses inside, ball 1.
So your question, Shaquille O'Neal, known for being fouled a lot because he wasn't a great free throw shooter, hack-a-shack. Career free throw percentage, and I'm going to give you 3% on either side.
Takes high and outside here, 2-0 to Murillo.
Maybe a little generous, but 3% on either side.
Career free throw percentage
so you have a
Shaquille
6%
O'Neal.
buffer, pretty much.
So there is a discussion happening on social media before I answer this question that NBA players should make 100% of their free throws as this misses outside. It's ridiculous, right?
I mean, even like put that into a perspective of like a normal person's life. That'd be like showing up to everything 100% on time, or or cooking 100% every single day. You never eat out if that's your goal. Like, you're never going to be a perfect.
Murillo takes strike 1, 3 balls and 1 strike.
But anyways, Shaq nowhere near 100%.
So I know like an average for a center would be like 76, 75. Murillo pops this one up to the right side, and the right fielder will make the grab. That's Navarro out there, the former Blue, for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, it just depends on the center, but I'd say your typical center between 65 and 80%.
Okay. Shaq was a 43% free throw shooter.
Not giving him enough credit there. 52.7 for his career. So you had anywhere between 49.7 and 55.7. So that's going to go down as another L. You still got 2 points, and your goal is 4, and you have 4 more questions actually. So you need to go 50%, and you have That was another one you could have got the bonus for guessing it exactly. So I think you're out of bonuses.
Royal takes inside 2-0.
I'll come up with one, though.
I knew Shaq was so cartoonishly bad at free throws that I think I undershot him. Royal checks his swing, and it's a called strike, 2-1.
And like I'll check his career stats, but I'm sure he had a season where he shot around, what do you say, 47, 42?
I said 43.
43. I'm sure he had a season where he shot around 43. But career, 52.7.
2-1. Royal takes it on the outer half for strike 2.
His lowest he ever shot was 42%. So right around where you were. No seasons where he shot above 60%.
Royal takes on the outer half for strike 3. EJ goes down looking, and for the third time today, a Blues batter has struck out, and it's the second out of the 5th inning.
Blues bats have been pretty uninspiring so far today, just not doing a lot up at the plate. Only 2 hits thus far, and now you're down 5 with 2 outs in the 5th. You're over halfway through the game. You're going to need to start putting some barrels in play and creating some runs.
Blues have only brought 4 batters to the plate in their last 3 innings. They're in the danger of setting the minimum here as Artois takes inside 1-0.
And what's been surprising to me is that Erspamer has a gross sinker, slider, changeup combo, but the Blues have not hit a lot of ground balls. They're putting the ball up in the air. Guy would expect to get a lot of ground balls.
Here's another ball in the air. A pop out to shallow right field. The second baseman, Johnston, makes the grab on stilts, and the side is retired. Blues go the minimum in the 5th. We head into the 6th. San Luis Obispo trails 5-0. Slow Blues Streaming Network. Top of the sixth inning at Sinsheimer Stadium. The Blues trail 5-0 against the Orange County Riptide. Due up for the Tide. It's 5-6-7. First pitch, and it's a called strike from Hawk Hill to Grant MacArthur. 0-1 to the DH, batting fifth today. 1 for 2, a single in the third, and grounded into a double play to end the first. And he shoots a base hit here into right field to start the inning. Grant MacArthur, 2 of 3 today, a couple of singles, and this one leads off the sixth.
Really good piece of hitting. Got a slider on the outer part. Wait, attack, and sent it the other way through the between the Tollerman and Maria.
And MacArthur puts back the ball and is on base for his second plate appearance in a row. It's Jonathan Rodriguez, the first baseman, batting sixth now. Rodriguez is committed to play at UNLV this next fall. He takes the first pitch inside, 1-0. Before that, a couple of seasons at Golden West Community College, and talked about before, that Orange Empire Conference. That conference is legit for junior college baseball. The 1-0. Rodriguez takes, and it's a strike one, 1-1. Last season with the Rustlers, he had an all-Orange Empire Conference year with a .621 slugging, a .414 average, and nearly a .500 on-base percentage.
Wow, those are good numbers.
The lefty takes inside, and Button back picks it, 2 balls and a strike.
Makes sense why he got an opportunity to play for the Rebels in the spring.
72 hits in his 174 at-bats with the Rustlers at Golden West. He's 10 of 40 entering today's game. Swing and a miss here for strike 2.
Riptide are the 4th seed in the South right now. Despite having a losing record, the season would end today. They would be a playoff team. Half game ahead of the Barons, who beat them yesterday.
It's a tight CCL South, 2-2. Rodriguez off the hand, sends it to the left of the press box. We'll do it again in a 2-strike count. The North is becoming a little tighter as well. The Blues only 2.5 games outside of first place where the Alameda Merchants stand. Now, the Merchants won't be able to qualify for postseason play because they are a CCL affiliate team, though they are in first right now. Here's a 2-2. Rodriguez breaks his bat. It dribbles to Tollerman at first, and it's a foul ball. Hawk Hill was completely unfazed by the barrel coming right to his head. He just ran out of the way, and Rodriguez needs a new bat.
That thing was a weapon heading up the middle, and I think Hawk just immediately recognized that it was going to go over his head and knew that he had to get over to first. He was trying to make a PFP, and foul.
The barrel just kind of helicopter spun over Hawk's head as Rodriguez still looking for that new piece of lumber. I think he's got it as he takes his time getting back into the batter's box. So Rodriguez still in a 2-strike count, 2-2 against Hawk Hill. Runner on first, it's Grant MacArthur. He had a leadoff single in this inning. Blues trail 5-0 against the Riptide on the top of the sixth at Sinsheimer Stadium. Lefty with his powder blue batting gloves and a slightly open stance in that batter's box, filling out the entirety of the chalk. Hill comes home. Hit hard into right field, but it'll be foul. Rodriguez, a rising junior at 6'2", 220 pounds. Driven in 8 runs entering today's game for the Riptide. 3 doubles, a triple, and a homer. Pick over to first, and MacArthur's in there in time. Rodriguez today, though, 0 for 2. A couple of ground ball outs to the shortstop, Ardois, and to the second baseman, Maria. The 2-2. Slider hit to the second baseman, Maria, who underhands it to Ardois and fires over to first. The Blues turn a double play. Twin killing for San Luis Obispo. There's 2 gone in the 6th.
That's not an easy play from Murillo. You need a runner with plus speed, but Murillo ranging away from second base and then had to flip his hips as quick as he could and make a sidearm toss to Ardois. Good turn by the Blues, the second time they've done that today.
Here's Luke Johnson, who singled in the second inning, then moved into scoring position on an E.J. Royal error. His first pitch swinging and pops it high, but out of play for strike one.
Take that foul ball home.
Johnson 1 of 2 today. After that single in the second, he grounded out to the shortstop Artois in the fourth. He digs in with 2 outs as the 7-hole hitter for the Riptide. Grounds it down the third base line, past the diving Comerford into left field, a base hit. Johnson rounds first, he chugs into second base, and that's all he'll get. A 2 RBI double down the left field line for Luke Johnson. He's 2 for 3 today.
Good swing and a good effort by Comerford to try to stop that ball. He's trying to get rid of all the dirt in his jersey and pants, and good swing as well from Johnson to pick up his second hit.
Yeah, Comerford went full extension down the third base line. He put his entire body on the line and couldn't make the play. Just kind of got to tip your cap there on an extra base hit from Luke Johnson. So it's Reed Montgomery now, one of the 3 left-handed hitters in tonight's lineup for the Riptide. The leadoff man, Brad Navarro, is a switch hitter. First pitch, Montgomery chops it on the left side of the infield. The third baseman, Comerford, takes his time getting it over to first, and the side is retired. A couple of base hits for the Riptide, but Johnson is stranded at second base. Still 5-0 OC as we head into the bottom half of the frame on the Slow Blue Streaming Network.
29-30.
New pitcher for the OC Riptide in the bottom half of the 6th inning. The Blues trail 5-0 against the Tide. Nathan Hellman, the right-hander from Kennesaw State University, replaces Mike Espalmer. 5 innings of work, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. Espalmer's reign of terror is over as 3-4-5 is due up for San Luis Obispo, Don Jordan, Zach Tollerman, and Gavin Smith. As we're back here in the broadcast booth, Ryan's got a new jersey, a Brock Purdy white jersey.
Yep.
Do they wear this gold trim usually?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
It's my only football jersey in my collection. Big Niners fan. I wear this on every game day, so 17 times or 16 times at least in a season.
Jordan Schro's bunt gets it down, but it's foul for strike 1.
And I have good news for you, Nate.
Okay.
I know you're even less of a football guy, NFL guy.
That's not true.
Than basketball?
Yeah, I know more NFL than basketball.
Okay, well, I have a basketball question for you anyways, because the jersey you're wearing is also part of my collection.
Uh-oh. That's right. That's true.
You want to show yours off as well after this Don Jordan 0-1 pitch?
Now it's 0-2 as Jordan swings and misses for strike 2. Devin Booker got to rep the Valley. Arizona State Sun Devil here. I got to rep my guy.
So this is a 2-parter. You can get, the full point with both parts or half point for each.
Okay.
The question is, when was Devin Booker drafted? What year?
Okay.
And then what college did he come out of?
Swing and a foul tip, and it will stay alive. 0-2 in the count. Devin Booker was drafted in 2016.
By? Or where was he from?
He was from Kentucky.
Kentucky is correct. He was drafted in 2015.
Oh, I knew it was around that time.
So you get a half point there for you. Good job.
Thank you. Here's the 0-2. Jordan swings and pops it up, and it's out of play. We'll do it again at 0-2.
Now you got 2.5 points. You got 3 questions remaining. So if you get 2 out of the next 3, and I did add a bonus point on the last one.
Okay.
So you do have an opportunity still for 4 points. So
where's the Purdy question?
I didn't make a Purdy one.
Oh.
Yes, I just.
Okay.
Because I asked you, do you want a Yastrzemski one or Purdy, and you said Yastrzemski.
I said Yastrzemski, and I still, got it wrong. Jordan goes down swinging on strikes. First out of the 6th inning, and Don Jordan strikes out.
Do you want a Purdy question? I could make one.
Why not? You know.
All right, let's see. Let me find a good one.
As an ASU Sun Devil, spend a lot of time in the Valley, where Brock Purdy famously went to high school, Perry High, the Panthers. Here's Zach Tellerman with 1 out after the Don Jordan strikeout, swinging to lead off the 6th inning. Tellerman is 1 for 2 today, a single in the first and a pop out to left field in the third. ZT with an open stance, the first pitch. Buckled up on a slider, and it's strike 1.
All right, here you go. Brock Purdy is very famously known as being Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the 2022 NFL draft. What pick is that? What's the number?
The 0-1. Tellerman flinches on a slider, 0-2. 235.
262.
262.
There was another opportunity for you to get a point, man.
Oh, my God. I'm out of here.
You're in the right area, at least.
Yeah.
That's kind of a tough one, though, I feel like.
The 0-2. Tellerman takes high and outside, a ball and 2 strikes. You know what I tried to remember on that? The Niners jersey that was held up that said Mr. Irrelevant on it.
Yeah.
Here's ZT in a 1-2 count. The pitch. Tellerman takes low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tellerman, the first baseman, batting cleanup today for the Blues. Just over halfway through this ball game, the Blues have yet to score a run. They've only put together 2 hits, and Tellerman has 1 of them. New pitcher Hellman from the stretch delivers, and Tellerman swings and misses for strike 3. ZT strikes out, much like I did on these trivia questions, and that's the 2nd out of the inning.
It's okay. You still got some time to make a comeback. I didn't make these easy, super easy. I wanted to challenge you because it's at the end of the day, it's all about learning. I feel like.
I got another football one.
That's a tough one though, because 262 is like a very, that's just you're kind of just throwing a pin at a dartboard. You probably know it's in that area.
Yeah, I knew it was 200 plus.
Yeah.
Here's Gavin Smith, like Brock Purdy, an Arizona native. He takes low, 1-0. Smith from Queen Creek, Brock Purdy from Chandler, Arizona. With an upright stance, here's the 1-0. Smith takes a bouncing ball. 2 balls and no strikes. The Harvard Crimson in the right-handed batter's box is 0 for 2 today. A strikeout looking and a fly ball to left field. Here's the 2-0. Smith checks his swing. He didn't go around, though, and it misses inside. 3 balls and no strikes. From the stretch, Hellman at the belt. Now delivers. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Gavin Smith went to high school just half an hour away from Brock Purdy, Chandler, and Queen Creek. Basha High is where Gavin Smith went to school. 3-1. Smith pops it up and over the press box for strike 2. Full count now to Gavin Smith as he tries to fight with 2 outs. Jordan struck out, Tellerman struck out. Back-to-back Ks from the new pitcher Nathan Hellman. Defense playing straight up against the righty Smith. With 2 outs, here's the payoff. And Smith will take it for strike 3. 3 up, 3 down, all by way of the K in the 6th inning. We head into the 7th. Blues trail 5-0 against the Riptide on the SLO Blues Streaming Network.
Prize.
5-0 Riptide on top of the 7th inning. Hawk Hill back out there for another inning of work as the manager, Dean Trainer, has a lengthy conversation with the home plate umpire to start out this inning. Nothing out of the norm here.
So you can see him in the bottom right of your screen there, just talking to the home plate umpire about who knows what.
Not really sure. I'm trying to rack my brain as to what Dean Trainer could be talking about. The Blues were retired in order in the bottom half of the 6th inning, all by a strikeout for the new relief pitcher, Nathan Hellman, who came into the game for the Riptide. And Trainer is obviously upset about something, and I'm trying to figure out what that is. It's the same pitcher in the game, Hawk Hill. There's no substitute for the Riptide here. It's Tyler Holland, who was scheduled to hit. So they separate. Trainer goes back into the dugout, and we're ready to go. Top of the 7th here, 9-1-2 due up for the Tide. Tyler Holland is 0 for 2 today. A pop out to the catcher, Nico Button, a strikeout swinging. And Holland takes strike 1 here against Hawk Hill. Hill has yet to strike out a batter in his outing so far. So far in 2 innings of work, has allowed 2 hits, and that's it. The pitch, and that's strike 2 to Tyler Holland. Holland, a Razorback from Arkansas, playing in his 10th game for the Riptide this summer. OC playing in game 18. Weak pop-up to the right side of the infield. The first baseman, Tellerman, sizes it up and makes a 2-handed squeeze for the first out of the inning. A couple of pop-outs for Tyler Holland today, and we flip it to the top of the order. Brad Navarro, who's 1 for 3. A double in the first inning. He came around to score on a Carter Dan's bomb into right field. Aside from that, a couple of pop-outs into the outfield, 1 in left and 1 in center. The switch-hitting Navarro will bat left-handed against Hawk Hill. This is the first time Navarro is batting left-handed today because the starter, Luke Kovacs, was a lefty. Navarro takes for strike 1. And you'll see that pretty much 100% of the time. If there's a switch hitter, whatever handedness the pitcher is, they will hit the opposite of because it's easier to see the ball come out of the hand. 0-1, and Navarro flinches on an offering inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Sometimes, though, with the opposite handedness of the pitcher and hitter, it becomes a little over-analyzed, I would say. Navarro swings and misses here for strike 2.
Yeah, it definitely can be. Sometimes switch hitters are just significantly better from one side, and it almost is more of an advantage to just hit from one side of the plate and disregard the switch hitting.
1-2. Navarro swings and leaks it into left field, and Smith won't have a play. It's a base hit for Navarro. He wants two. Smith is at the fence, and Navarro with a stand-up double with one out in the 7th. This kid can hit, man.
Yes, he can. I mean, that might push his average up over 500 for the summer. He is just raking. Came into the game with a league-leading 4 doubles. He's extended it to 6.
You're talking about that batting average. Navarro is 3rd in the CCL, entering today's game with a .486 batting average. And you're probably right, Ryan. A 2 for 4 day. He's beefing up that average by quite a few points. Behind him, it's Joey Donnelly of the Walnut Creek Crawdads with a .490 average, and Nathaniel Williams with the Academy Barons at a .488 average. So here's Jake Evans, who was substituted in. Camden Sauce. Here's Camden Sauce, the right-handed hitter from Texas Christian, and he takes strike 1. And a meeting at the mound as Dean Traynor walks out to talk to Hawk Hill. We saw Jackson Howe warming up in the pen a little bit earlier. Jaden Turner was in there too. No movement right now. Everyone just kind of standing around in hoodies. Traynor just having a mano-a-mano with Hawk Hill on the hill. Camden Sauce played at TCU this past season in Fort Worth. Hit the portal and right away committed to Santa Clara just over a week ago. We'll be joining Andrew Raymond for San Luis Obispo, our left-handed hitting outfielder who is a Bronco. Just finished up his first season there. Sauce played in 2 seasons with the TCU Horned Frogs, and he only made 7 appearances last year as a sophomore for TCU. Served as a defensive replacement 5 times, a pinch runner once, and a pinch hitter once. Only had 3 at-bats on the year. In a closed-off stance, here's Sauce. Hawk delivers. Swing and a miss on a slider for strike 2. Camden popped out to the shortstop Ardois the last time he was up after replacing Jake Evans in the 5th inning. Carter Dan stands on deck. He's 1 for 2 with a homer. With 1 out and a runner on second base, it's Navarro. Here's the 0-2. Slider misses outside from Hill. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Doesn't miss by much. Good 0-2 spot by Hawk Hill.
Wanted to get a chase that time from Sauce, but he didn't even budge a little bit. 2 RBIs entering today's game for Sauce. The pitch, 1-2, and he chases a slider but gets a piece of it as it rolls into the backstop. We'll do it again at 1-2.
Kind of ironic. The fans here are screaming for hot sauce from Sauce.
I would say that's coincidental.
There's no relation between the hot sauce we give out and Camden Sauce.
No. Hill from the stretch comes set. From the chest, delivers. Sauce takes high and inside, 2-2.
Change up that is just way too high. Very non-competitive pitch from Hawk Hill, and now he finds himself in a much trickier situation in a 2-2 count against a very good hitter in Sauce.
The 2-2. Sauce swings and misses for strike 3. Camden Sauce gives the crowd a bottle of hot sauce. 2 outs in the 7th inning with a runner on second.
Good pitch there from Hawk Hill. He kind of tunneled that non-competitive changeup. He goes really high with the changeup, and then he throws a fastball right around the same tunnel, and it got Sauce to swing.
So here's Carter Dans now. That home run in the 1st that sent shockwaves throughout the Central Coast. Scored 2 runs. Riptide up 5-0 after scoring 2 more in the 3rd and another one in the 4th. It's Dans who stands upright in the box. pumps, but doesn't go around for ball one. Aside from that, he walked in the third and hit a blooper to Comerford at third base. And left-handed hitter went to Northwestern last season and is now in the transfer portal. Peak at second, the 1-0. Dans leaves it high, 2 balls and no strikes. Carter is a native of Newport Beach, California. A two-way player, left-handed pitcher, and utility man. Before this season at Northwestern, Big Ten Division I Baseball.com named Dans as an impact freshman before the season. That was before he appeared in 12 games at both the plate and on the mound, starting 1 in left field and once on the mound for the Wildcats. 2-0. Dans will leave it high, 3 straight balls from Hawk Hill. Dans actually made his first collegiate appearance right around where he grew up against Long Beach State.
It has to be fun for the family. I'm sure they traveled to go see him play.
3-0. Dans takes all the way, and it's a called strike. Absolutely. I mean, if it happens in summer ball, we saw Cade O'Hara and his squad down in Orange County because Cade grew up in Tustin, which is very close to Irvine. It definitely happens in the regular season, too, for college baseball. Any chance you get to see your son play in real life, you take that opportunity. The 3-1 misses inside, and that's ball 4. 2-out walk from Hawk Hill, and there's 2 runners on for the Tide.
You played Division I ball, but you played across the country.
I did.
I know you have very supportive parents, and this is no knock on them if they couldn't make it, because that'd be pretty incredible. But were they ever able to see you play in person?
They wanted to, and it was doubly hard because not only was I 3,000 miles away, it was during COVID.
Oh yes, that is, yeah. I would have praised them so much if they would have made it.
Put in play by Zach Crandall, the shortstop Ardois on the run, makes the throw, and the side is retired. 2 stranded for the Riptide. It's time to stretch. Into the bottom of the 7th we go. 5-0 OC on the Slow Blues Streaming Network.
Stretch your legs.
Bottom of the 7th here at Sunshiner Stadium, the Blues trail 5-0 against the Orange County Riptide. Kosei Suzuki, Brendan Comerford, and Nico Button due up in the bottom half of this inning as Ryan and I return to the broadcast booth here. Another basketball jersey for Ryan, a Kevin Durant jersey, a former Sun Kevin Durant. Suzuki takes the first pitch, and it's a called strike, going 1.
Kevin Durant now played on 4 teams.
The Thunder, or the Sonics. Do you want to count Sonics?
No, that's one franchise.
Okay.
Thunder, Warriors.
Popped up and out of play for strike 2.
Thunder, Warriors, Suns, and now the Rockets. So 4.
Nets.
So it'll be 5. I'm wearing the Nets jersey. So 5. And when he left OKC, they previously, that last season, lost to the Warriors in the Eastern Conference Final, or Western Conference Finals, blowing a 3-1 lead, which is super ironic because the Warriors then blew a 3-1 lead to the Cavs in the finals.
0-2, and Suzuki got a piece of it as he rolls it into the backstop. We'll do it again.
And everybody called him a snake. Everybody did. But then he went to the Warriors, and they were winners.
Yeah.
How many times did they win the finals?
With Durant?
With Durant.
3.
Nate.
Oh, they got that one in 22 and Durant wasn't there. Twice.
2. I can't give you that.
Twice.
I can't. You said 3, man.
Twice. 0-2. Suzuki leaves a slider outside 1-2.
The 2022 finals for the Warriors, I cried. Like that was
many people didn't have him winning that.
Yeah, no. But yes, Durant won 2, and he won the Finals MVP both of those years as well. Kind of takes Steph's legacy a little bit.
The 1-2. Suzuki loses his bat as he swings and foul tips it in the 1-2 count. Look out.
It kind of tainted Steph's reputation because they didn't get those Finals MVPs, even though he very could have, especially if Durant wasn't on the team. But
I shouldn't have been so hasty with my guess.
Yeah,
I was really confident because I saw 3 rings in my head.
Yeah.
But
do you know how many the Dynasty has?
Is it 4?
It's 4, yeah. So they won in 2015.
Yep.
And then Durant came over. They won 16. Or sorry, they lost 16. That was the 3-1.
To the greatest player of all time.
Second. And then won 17-18, lost 19 to the Raptors, then won again in 22.
Suzuki in the 1-2 count. Swings and misses for strike 3.
Nate, man, I told you in between innings. I told you I was going to be disappointed if you didn't get that one.
Guys, I'm honestly embarrassed.
That's 2, Brendan Crawford.
Yeah, that's not a great one to not get.
That was a gimme.
Yeah. I thought I specifically made it so the Butler one I thought was kind of a gimme with how many teams he played on, and same with that Durant one. You got the Jimmy one. You got the bonus point for the Jimmy one too.
Yeah. First pitch to Comerford. He shows bunt and pulls it back as he takes it for ball 1.
You do still have 3 points available. 2 more jerseys.
No question will be as easy as the one you just gave.
The next one, honestly, I think is very gettable.
1-0. Comerford takes it for strike.
Especially if you just think about it for a little bit. I think it is very, very gettable.
I know that's hard for you, Nate.
You just have to use some deductive reasoning, and I think you could get there
you know
pretty
how bad
easily.
That could be for me. I go to ASU. 1-1. Comerford off the hands, out of play.
Yeah, journalists usually, especially sports journalists, usually don't have great deductive reasoning, but I truly think you could get this one if you just take a second and think, because it is very gettable.
That's scary that you think journalists don't have good deductive reasoning. This is
some don't.
Yeah. Comerford with a closed-off stance on the 1-2 with 1 out. The pitch swings and misses at a slider for strike 3. 5 Blues retired in a row, all via the strikeouts.
All to Hellman. He's been hammering the zone against these Blues hitters and throwing that slider in 2 strike counts, and nobody has picked up on it. He also hasn't had to face a lefty yet, the right-handed thrower, and he will right now with Nico Button.
Yeah, here's Nico Button right on cue. 0 for 2 today, a pop out to left and a blooper to the second baseman Johnson. Standing well off home plate, Button in the left-handed batter's box awaits and takes a fastball for strike 1. Ryan, which team is winning in a 7-game series? The Michael Jordan Bulls or those Warriors that lost to the Cavs? Button pops this one up and out of play for strike 2.
The 73-9 Warriors?
Yes. As an intern comes into this room with a Dennis Rodman jersey. Button with an open stance on the 0-2 with 2 outs. The pitch, and he takes it outside, 1-2.
I think the biggest weakness of those Jordan Bulls teams was that Rodman was at the 4, but they didn't have a great 5 ever. And they had Luke Longley, he was okay, but no good bigs really. And the Warriors were not like a big dominant team.
I was going to say
Andrew Bogut, Festus Ezeli,
Button leaves it outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
No crazy big names like dominant centers. It was about Curry and Curry and Clay and Draymond and Iggy at the time, and they had Leandro Barbosa and Sean Livingston, Brandon Rush. I think the Warriors would get it done though because that team is so deep.
2-2. Button takes it low and outside for ball 3. Not by much though. That's a good point. The depth of that Warriors team. There were just guy after guy coming off the bench.
Ben are wearing a Dennis Rodman jersey. What do you think? The 73-9 Warriors or the 72-10 Bulls? He said the Bulls.
No hesitation.
No hesitation.
Here's the payoff. Button swings and chops it foul.
And I totally respect it. I think it would be like the most competitive series ever.
Our intern Ben had a point about the Bulls. Too many superstars.
Too many superstars. That's true. I think the Warriors would just have to put Draymond Green on Michael Jordan.
Button goes down swinging for strike 3. Loses it on the payoff pitch, and the Blues have been shut out 7 innings in a row. Hellman has struck out every batter he's seen. 6 straight Ks for Nathan Hellman. We head into the 8th inning, and the Tide up 5-0 over the Blues. Top of the 8th inning, Riptide ahead of the Blues 5-0. 7 shutout innings for Riptide pitching. Nathan Hellman came in and struck out 6 in a row. The Blues have a new pitcher too, Jackson Howell. Hawk Hill's day is done after 3 innings of work. 3 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. Grant MacArthur leads it off against Howell, who is 2 for 3 today against the Blues. First pitch, and it misses high and tight, 1-0. We want to shout out the Button family. Nico Button's mother came by and brought us some baked goods.
These brownies are to die for.
They're so good.
They're incredible. And here's a sneak peek at the jersey. We'll talk about it in the bottom half, but
MacArthur takes a strike, 1-1.
These brownies, also chocolate chip cookies, really good.
Yes.
Very good.
I think there were oats in the chocolate chip cookies as well.
Delicious. I remember last year did the same thing. Also delicious. Has not lost that baking touch.
Love the buttons. This one misses low and outside, 2 balls and a strike. I had forgotten how much I like brownies. And then Mrs. Button dropped off those baked goods for us. And I started eating them. I was like, wait a minute, why haven't I been eating more? 2-1. And MacArthur pops it up and out of play for strike 2. Ryan's still gnawing on a brownie right now.
Don't go me out, man. I put the mic up for a reason. I want to eat my brownie in peace, man.
Still chewing.
Yeah, get by to yours, man. I got you.
I'm doing the PXP, brother.
I got you. The 2-2 to MacArthur, ball 3. Eat the brownie. It's good. It's so chocolatey.
Really good.
Full count. This one is swung and hit high and kind of deep out to right field. Suzuki will get under it and make the grab as Nate finishes his brownie bite and tells you all about it.
I got a little like sugar buzz going.
Yes.
I've had like 4 within the past like 2 minutes.
The first baseman, Jonathan Rodriguez.
I feel it.
I'm shaking.
Is my chest supposed to be fuzzy?
Oh my God. Take your pulse right now. You might be at like 110 beats per minute just sitting here.
MacArthur pops out. It's Jonathan Rodriguez now against Howe. Curveball, and it just misses outside. 1-0.
What does the watch say?
I was chilling at 68 BPMs about 5 minutes ago, but that was before brownie number 3 and 4. 80. 1-0. And Rodriguez takes it outside, 2-0.
I don't get the hard guy. I mean, they're so good. The cookies, I will say, I'm a big brownie guy. We have finished the brownies. There are still a lot of cookies left.
Oh, wait, I did eat the last one. 2-0. Rodriguez will take it outside. Hal isn't missing by much on these pitches.
You know, we shared with the rest of the peeps up here in the press box, and yeah, brownies are all gone. There were also significant amount more of the cookies. The cookies are also great. I probably had 4 brownies and 3 cookies already today.
3-0 sent straight back. 3 balls and a strike to Johnny Rodriguez. 0 for 3 today, 3 ground ball outs, one of them a double play in the 6th.
A cheat day, I guess. I don't know.
And you're about to start 75 hard.
Well, I won't be eating any brownies or cookies for 75 days, so.
Yeah, get it in now.
Yeah, exactly.
With 1 out, here's a 3-1 to Rodriguez. Spike fastball misses inside, and that's ball 4. Kind of a frustrating at bat for Jackson Howe. With the fastball and the curveball, I mean, he didn't miss his spots really that much.
Yeah, no, those pitches were not off the plate by much. Some of them definitely could have been called strikes and have been called strikes at certain points in this game, but Howe not getting any calls from the home plate umpire and a 1-out walk.
Here's Luke Johnson. Johnson takes a slider outside. Rodriguez takes off the second. Here comes the throw. It's short hop second base, and Murillo can't apply the tag in time. Johnny Rodriguez steals second base. Wants his second stolen base of the summer. He's 2 for 4 on stolen bags. Meeting at the mound between Button and Howe as Jackson hits reset. That's something you can always count on with Howe. The stuff is always going to be good. He had a nice sweeping slider last season for the Blues, a good curveball, a heavy fastball as well. He'd sample a changeup every now and then. Those pitches have looked good. Just missing just by a centimeter off the plate. 1-0. And this one fouled off the front foot of Luke Johnson for strike 1. Johnson is 2 for 3 today. A single and a double, sandwiched between a ground out in the 4th. The righty Johnson is playing second base and batting seventh today. Here's the 1-0. And this one grounded to the left side and foul. Comerford backhands it in foul territory. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Johnson. Hit that single in the second where Royal couldn't quite glove it in center field, but he was stranded in scoring position. Rodriguez at second base. And it's Luke Johnson at first. 2 for 3 today for the tie. OC up 5-0 in the top of the 8th inning. Here's the 1-2. Fastball just missing outside and up. A called strike 3. That took a long time for the home plate umpire to pull the string on that one. But Jackson House sits down Luke Johnson for the first out of the inning.
We've seen a couple of delayed calls today, but that was almost 2 full seconds later. I saw the ball. I went down to change it on the scoreboard, or the score bug on the broadcast, and you're just saying strike 3 while I'm mid-changing it.
So 1 out. Nice pitch from Jackson Howell to paint the corners. And it's Reed Montgomery who's hitless today. Does have a walk in the 4th inning, though. The pitch. Montgomery swings and misses over a changeup for strike 1. That's that changeup we were talking about, Ryan. Pulling the string on Montgomery. Gets a big swing and a miss and swings right over it.
It's a really great pitch to start with here. You get the strike, and now really anything in the arsenal is available. You go back to that changeup. You can pound the fastball. You go slider off of it. It's all available to Howell.
Here's the 0-1. Misses in the dirt. Button keeps it in front. 1 ball and 1 strike to Reed Montgomery. Pop out in the second. Grounder to Comerford in 6th. And a walk in the 4th. He came around to score there. Scored on a couple of errors on a stolen base attempt from Reed Montgomery. He stole second base. And 2 errors brought him home. Pitch high and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Reed Montgomery. Rodriguez reached on a walk with 1 out in the 8th. And they stole second base, his second stolen base of the summer. Luke Johnson just struck out for the second out of the inning. Now it's Reed Montgomery. The 2-1. Montgomery takes a fastball on the outer half for strike 2. Blues trail 5-0, getting shut out against the OC Riptide. The Tide have 9 hits to the Blues 2. Tyler Holland stands on deck for OC. With 2 outs, here's the 2-2. Curveball bounces in front of Button. It kicks over his head, and Rodriguez heads into third. Spiked curveball, and Button tried to keep it in front, but a big kick over his head, and an extra 90 for Jonathan Rodriguez.
That one just rode up the chest protector of Button up over his head. Had some wicked spin, too, when it hit the ground. Just showing you how hard that pitch was to block. A little bit tougher of a situation with that runner 90 feet away, but you're a strike away from getting out.
Here's Montgomery, the payoff pitch. Swing and a soft ground ball to the second baseman Murillo, who flicks it over to first in time and retires the side. 5-0 OT. OC, bottom half of the 8th inning. Blues trail as Slow Blues shooting now.
Rebecca Carter, Dominic Roan, and Rebecca. batsman, Diego Murillo.
New pitcher for the OC Riptide. Nathan Hellman's reign of terror is done. He faced 6 batters and struck out all of them. It's a new pitcher, a left-hander, Jack Morrissey, into the game for the OC Riptide. He is a sophomore from Belmont University in Tennessee. 9-1-2 due up for San Luis Obispo as they trail 5-0. Murillo is first pitch swinging and hits it off his hands and out of the stadium for strike 1. All right, so we got a brand new jersey here. Ryan showed it to you a little bit last half inning. A Giannis Antetokounmpo green Milwaukee Bucks jersey.
Yep. 2-time MVP.
That's right.
And that's what your question is. When did he win those MVPs?
Ooh.
What 2 years?
Murillo in an 0-2 count against the new pitcher, Jack Morrissey. I think 2018 was one of them.
Okay.
The 0-2. Murillo swings and misses for strike 3. 7 Blues in a row have struck out.
So I figured you have
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Okay.
You have pretty decent knowledge, I feel like, of very big things that happen in the NBA, like the MVP award. You already know, because I told you earlier, that Joel Embiid won the 2022-23 MVP.
Yep.
You know who won this year, I hope.
I do.
You know who won last year's?
I do. Royal takes the first pitch low, 1-0.
So I feel like if you just keep working back, you'll figure out where it is.
So the Bucks won the championship the year Embiid got MVP. Royal takes strike 1 here, 1-1 count.
Yes.
Okay. So
who was this year's?
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Last year?
Nikola Jokic.
And then
Nikola Jokic.
No.
No?
And
Royal sends it the opposite way. The first baseman, Rodriguez, will take it to first base himself for the second out of the 8th inning. And the strand of strikeouts come to an end. Blues strike out 7 times in a row. AJ breaks it up with a ball in play. What year would that be? 2023?
yes, which I told you earlier was Embiid.
Joel.
Yes. The year before that.
22.
The 20, 21.
Was that Giannis?
No.
Was it Embiid? Did Embiid go back to back?
No, I believe.
Sam Ardois, the 2-hole hitter, takes a first pitch curveball for a strike.
I don't know. I think that one was also Jokic.
I'm kind of spinning right now. Like, I'm lost.
It was Jokic.
The 0-1. Ardois takes another curveball for strike 2.
I mean, I feel like you should know it now. You know it's 2018, and you know it's not 2022 through 2025.
2019.
2019 is one of them.
Pitch misses inside, 1-2 now to Sam Ardois. 2019, and he won one before that at 2?
He won 2.
I know, but he won one before 2019 as well. 1-2. Ardois backs out of the way of a slider inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 17?
No. 2019 and 2020. Back to back. The COVID year and then the year before that.
2-2. Ardois pops it up and out of play off to the right, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
So you're still.
I think at this point I should just stick to baseball. What do you think?
This is a learning experience, and this last one's kind of a trick question. I'll tell you that, but it's gettable. And now that you know that it's a trick question, it's even more gettable, and you can get 2 points as a bonus.
Ardois chops it and fouls it on top of home plate, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Which is exactly what you need because you have 2.5 points, and you said you wanted to get 4. So if you get both, you have 4.5. You're good, man.
Worst Jersey night ever. Two-hole hitter Ardois chokes up on his bat. Checks his swing, didn't go around, and the pitch is outside too. Sam Ardois might have gotten away with a call there, and the count moves 3 balls and 2 strikes. Gearing down in his right-handed stance against the new pitcher, Jack Morrissey. The pitch, Ardois hits it off the hands down the third base line, and Evans throws across his body. Can't scoop it at first base is Rodriguez. He's off the bag. Sam Ardois, an infield base hit. First hit the Blues have had in 4 innings.
Wow. Really good play from Evans. Rodriguez scooped it, and thought he kept his foot on the base, but first base umpire said he was off. And Rodriguez immediately turned around and started yelling at the umpire, arguing that call at first base.
It doesn't go his way, and here comes Don Jordan, who's hitless. 0 for 2, a strikeout swinging and a walk in the first inning. The pitch, Jordan swings and misses at a changeup for strike 1, way out in front of that off speed.
Blues offense has been dormant tonight. I mean, that is their first hit since the 4th inning, and that ball did not leave the infield. They have not had a base hit outside of the infield since the 4th.
Here's the 0-1. Jordan dribbles it, foul for strike 2. 2 outs, and Ardois stands at first. He had a 2-out single to extend the inning. Diego Murillo led off this frame with a strikeout swinging, and E.J. Royal grounded to Rodriguez at first for an unassisted putout. Blues trail 5-0 against the OC Riptide. They got some work to do. Only 3 hits on the night. OC has 5 runs and 9 hits. 0-2. Jordan scooches out of the way on the pitch inside. Ardois at second base with a stolen bag.
I have a fast speed seat cushion for number 29.
Ardois took off before the pitch came out of the hand of the left-hander Morosi.
Marketing tent gets your fast speed seat cushion from Promotional Concepts.
And now he's in scoring position for Don Jordan. The right-hander and a former Longhorn from Texas. 0-2 goes down swinging. Morosi pulls the string on Jordan, and he strikes him out swinging to end the 8th. Heading into the 9th, Blues still trail 5-0 against the Tide on the Slow Blues streaming network.
At the 9th, and it's time to
(9-1-2) due up for the OC Riptide, and Jackson Howell back out there in the top half of the 9th inning. Orange County lead the Slow Blues 5-0. It's been very quiet since the top of the 4th when OC scored their 5th run of the game. Check swing from the first hitter in Holland, and he didn't go around. 1-0 from Jackson Howell. Holland is 0 for 3 today. A couple of pop-outs and a strikeout swinging against the Blues today. Howell strides and shoots, and Holland takes outside. 2 balls and no strikes to the right-handed hitting shortstop Tyler Holland from Arkansas. Registered his first season with the Razorbacks this past year after being one of the top-ranked shortstops in the state of California in high school. Holland swings and misses on the 2-0 here. A slider from Jackson Howell for strike 1. And that's what that slider gets. That's the kind of swings you get from that pitch from Howell. The big looping ones that make the hitters look foolish. Here's the 2-1 to Tyler Holland from Howell. The pitch, another slider, and another big swing and a miss for strike 2.
Howell, when he has good control of that slider changeup, he could be one of the grossest pitchers in this Blues staff. But when he doesn't, it can get ugly, and we've seen times where, he hasn't had full control.
2-2. Holland off the hands, grounds it foul. You talked about when those pitches are working, being one of the grosser arms in the staff. Well, that was the case last year for the Blues roster. In 2024, he was one of the more reliable starting pitchers, if not the most reliable pitchers for the Blues. Here's the 2-2 to Holland. Swing and a soft tapper, same spot, down the third base line and foul. Holland will do it again in a 2-strike count against Jackson Howell. Howell, a right-hander who originally went to St. Mary's College his freshman year. He was recruited by manager Greg Moore, but after he left, decided to hit the transfer portal and has been at Cuesta for 2 years ever since. Misses in the dirt, and now full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Tyler Holland. Now in the transfer portal again, looking for another 4-year university. From the stretch, he comes set with his black arm sleeves and his high pants. The payoff pitch. Holland fouls it at home plate once again and fights on against Jackson Howell. Holland is the leadoff hitter in this inning for the Riptide. Bradley Navarro, one of the league's best bats, stands on deck for OC. Howell trying to put away the 9-hole hitter, Holland. On the 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on the changeup, and Holland loses the battle.
That's a huge out. You do not want to face Bradley Navarro with runners on base. He's hit 2 doubles already today, and you've gotten lucky that you haven't had runners on base when he has hit those extra base hits. So you just want to mitigate the amount of damage he could do, and he can do a lot if there's runners on.
Yeah, Bradley Navarro, 2 for 4 with 2 doubles today. Came around to score in the first inning. And aside from those doubles, has a couple of pop-outs into the outfield. In left and in center, just got underneath some pitches. Wide open stance, the switch hitter batting left-handed swings and misses at the first pitch for strike 1. Navarro with those 2 doubles today, now tied in second for the CCL in doubles with 5. James Bowes, a Menlo Park legend, leads the league with 6. The 0-1. Navarro takes a changeup off the plate, and now an even count, 1 ball and 1 strike to Navarro. Bradley committed to play at the University of Utah this fall. He was a D1 bounce back from Michigan. Spent his past season at Cypress College with the Chargers, where he slugged .613 and batted .358. Takes a pitch inside, 2 balls and a strike. Struck out 21 times and walked 32. This is a guy who knows the zone, and when you get something he can hit, well, he'll do damage. 16 extra base hits, 9 of them home runs, 6 doubles and a triple. Offering left high, 3 balls and a strike to Navarro.
Those numbers are ridiculously good at Cypress. He's continued his success into the summer and in Irvine.
The 3-1. Navarro checks his swing, but it's a called strike anyway. A full count, 3-2 to Bradley Navarro, the former Blue, who only played in 5 games this past summer for Dean Traynor and his squad. 5 hits in his 19 at-bats, 1 for extra bases, it was a double. And I'm sure Dean Traynor and his team would sure love to have that talent here. 3-2. Navarro pokes it to the second baseman, Murillo, who kicks it off his glove, and an error from the second baseman, Diego Murillo, puts Bradley Navarro on first base.
Error number 5, and the last time the Blues had an error, was in the 4th inning where they gave up a run. They had an error in the 3rd inning where they gave up 2 runs. And been kind of the driving factor to why this is a 5-0 ball game rather than like a 2-0 ball game.
It's Camden Sauce with a runner on first, and he takes the first pitch changeup for a called strike. The Blues with 5 errors today are coming off a game yesterday against the Santa Barbara Foresters where they had no errors. That's kind of the team that the Blues have been this summer. You never really know what kind of squad you're going to get on a given day. It could be a completely clean defensive game or kicking the ball all over the infield. Bradley Navarro takes off to second. Here comes the throw from Button. It's just a little late. A stolen base for Bradley Navarro puts a runner in scoring position for the Tide.
Got a good jump. It was a pretty good throw by Button. Murillo was covering, coming over from second base, had to stop on a dime and try to apply the tag. It was just a touch late.
Navarro is now a perfect 3 for 3 in stolen bases this summer for the Tide. Here's Sauce in a closed-off stance on the 1-1 with a runner at second and 1 out. Here's the pitch. Sauce takes it low for ball 2. Camden, a recent commit to Santa Clara University in Northern California, spent his first 2 seasons of college baseball at Texas Christian with the Horned Frogs. Before that, he was committed to play for the Tritons at UC San Diego. Born and raised in Alpine, California in San Diego, the 2-1. And the ball gets away from Nico Button behind home plate, and an extra 90 feet for Brad Navarro puts him at third. Wild pitch from Jackson Howe, and Brady Navarro now stands at third base. Sauce is 0 for 2 today. A pop out to the shortstop Ardois and a strikeout swinging in the 7th inning. Came in to replace Jake Evans at third base, who started this game and was 0 for 2 with a strikeout as well. Now gets set with Camden Sauce getting back into the batter's box. Infield playing in on 3-1. This is inside, and that's ball 4 to Camden Sauce. Runners at the corners for the Riptide in the top of the 9th inning.
Only one other game in the CCL today. The Seagulls and Crawdads played at 4 o'clock. No score reported for that game. Not a lot of action in the CCL on a Thursday evening. And tomorrow, 8 of the 14 teams will be in action, including the Stompers, the Blues, who are back here.
First pitch misses high and outside to Carter Dans for ball 1. Dans is 1 for 2 today. A 2-run shot in the first inning put the Riptide ahead early. And aside from that, a pair of walks as well. Runner takes off to second, and Dans fouled it straight back into the screen off his hands for strike 1. Carter has scored 2 runs in this inning and driven in 2. Playing center field and batting third today for the Riptide. A 2-way player, formerly a Wildcat from Northwestern, now in the transfer portal. SoCal born and raised from Newport Beach as they pick over to first, and the runner Sauce is back in time.
Actually going to have 9 teams in the CCL playing tomorrow. I was looking at the scoreboard, and there were only 4 games, and the Blues weren't there. The Blues have a non-conference game against the Santa Maria Indians tomorrow.
That's right. Sauce jumps towards second again. Here comes the throw. They go all the way, and it's late again. Stolen base for Camden Sauce, and now 2 in scoring position for the Tide. 2 stolen bases in this inning. Couple of tardy throws from Nico Button. Sauce at second, and Brad Navarro at third.
I think Howell just has a pretty slow load time to the plate, and the runners are picking up on it. That's why Navarro was able to steal, and then Sauce as well.
Infield playing in the 1-2. Swing and tipped off the chest of Nico Button. It's a foul ball, and we'll do it again at a ball and 2 strikes. Twilight sky looming over Sinsheimer Stadium as the sun completely sets behind Madonna Mountain on the Central Coast. Part of the 9 sisters that lay in the coastal valley, and a big reason why San Luis Obispo gets so much fog and cold coastal air in the evening, creating a wind tunnel dumping right into the city of SLO, generating from Morro Bay. With 1 out, here's the 1-2. Pitch misses low and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And if you're from around here, you know that Morro Bay is cold pretty much 24/7, 365. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. We do know that it supplies cold air into San Luis Obispo essentially every single night. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a grounder to Murillo at second, who snares it and underhand flips it to Tolman at first. Nice reaction time from Diego Murillo, and that's the second out of the 9th inning.
That was a really good play from Murillo. It saved a run, and it's another out. Blues already down 5, but you don't want to make it 6 or 7 or maybe more and make it even harder to try to mount a comeback in the bottom of the ninth.
So it's Zach Crandall now, who's 2 for 4 today. Had an RBI single in the third and grounded out to the shortstop Ardois, 2 at-bats in a row. With runners at second and third, he digs in with 2 outs. First pitch, Crandall takes it low and outside. A nice block from Nico Button to smother that baseball. 1 ball, no strikes to the catcher batting fourth. Crandall, an anteater from UC Irvine, was a Pirate at Orange Coast College his first year of college baseball, and then a Ute at the University of Utah. Before that, a Rainbow Warrior from Hawaii. There's a called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to Zach Crandall. Cut in the fall by the Rainbow Warriors. Played JUCO ball at Orange Coast. And then a couple of years at Utah. He didn't see any action with the Utes up in Salt Lake City. The 1-1. Crandall checks his swing and went around for strike 2. No action with the Utes, but he did have some fun with the Anteaters this past season. They made it to a regional. Runners on second and third. Blues trail 5-0 in the top of the ninth inning. The 1-2. Crandall takes it off the plate. It's ball 2.
Really close pitch. I think that was correctly called by the home plate umpire as a ball. And Howell after work set himself up good. I think that was slider up and away. You can work a changeup off of that on the outer part. You can go fastball up and away and try to freeze the hitter.
The 2-2. Crandall pokes it up and out of the stadium. We'll do it again, and 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs, Camden Sauce at second base, and Brad Navarro at third. Navarro reached on error, and Sauce reached on a walk. Both of them stole a base, and Navarro got to third on a wild pitch. 2 outs, 2-2 counts. Top of the ninth. The pitch. Low in the dirt. Button keeps it in front, and now full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the catcher, Crandall. In high school was the 64th ranked catcher in the state of California. The righty awaits the payoff pitch. Off the hands, he flares it into right field. Suzuki tracks it back, now comes in, he can't make the catch! Navarro comes in to score, so does Camden Sauce. Kosei Suzuki lost it in the lights, and that's the 6th error of the night for the Blues. It cost them 2 runs in the top of the ninth. It's 7-0 Orange County.
It can be really tough to see the ball in the twilight sky, but that's just a play already down 5 that the Blues have to have, and makes Howell work even harder out there to get this final out and get the bats up there with a chance. I can't remember the last time I've seen a team win a baseball game, however, with 6 errors.
Yeah, you don't see that happen too often, but the Blues still have a half inning to make up for it on offense, but they got their work cut out for them. And Zach Crandall stands on second base following the error from Kosei Suzuki in right. Here's Grant MacArthur, who takes the first pitch low and outside, 1-0. Grant, the DH, is 2 for 3 today. A couple of singles, grounded into a double play, and walked. 7-0 lead now. Kosei Suzuki just committed the Blues' 6th error of the evening, the 1-0. MacArthur takes all the way inside. Now a 2-0 count. Grant in the driver's seat against Jackson Howe, pitching in his 2nd inning of work. MacArthur is a Husky from UConn. Before that, a JUCO Bandit and a Mustang at San Joaquin Delta College, one of the premier junior college baseball programs. Here's the 2-0. MacArthur pops it up into left field. Smith charging back at the warning track, at the wall. It's off the base of the wall. 1 run is in, and MacArthur will stop at second base. An RBI double, and Grant MacArthur trades places with Zach Crandall, and the Riptide extend 8-0 in the top of the 9th inning.
Haven't had a lot of offense since the 4th inning. And right there, or it's not right there, excuse me, but the
Riptide are producing some more offense. I think there's a correlation. The Blues had an error in the 5th, an error in the two errors in the 5th, an error in the 3rd. Both times, both innings where the Riptide scored a run, and none in the 1st where the Riptide scored. But
Johnny Rodriguez swings and misses at the first pitch changeup for strike 1.
So 3 out of the 4 innings the Riptide have scored in today's game, the Blues have committed an error. This inning they've committed 2.
Runner on second. The 0-1, and Rodriguez bounced it to the second baseman, Murillo, who throws across his body to Tellerman at first, and the side is retired. A 3-run inning for the OC Riptide in the top of the 9th inning. After 4 shutout innings for OC, they come back and explode with a trio of runs. 8-0 Orange County as the Tide look to close it out against the Blues. Due up for San Luis Obispo, the middle of the order. Stay tuned. The SLO Blues Streaming Network. Last call for the Blues in what is now an 8-0 ball game, a 3-run top of the 9th inning. Every error that the Blues have committed today, and they've had 6, have come around to score. Only 2 earned runs this evening for the Orange County Riptide. The Blues got their work cut out for them. It's the middle of the order due up though. Zach Tellerman, Gavin Smith, and Kosei Suzuki as Ryan Giacomini shows off his final jersey of the evening. It is a Vince Carter purple Toronto Raptors jersey with the pinstripes as Tellerman laces it down the left field line, and he hits it out of here. Zach Tellerman leaves the yard in the bottom of the 9th inning. First run of the day for the Blues, and it's hot off the press from ZT.
100 miles an hour straight down the line and off the cargo containers. And I mean, we were showing off the Vince Carter jersey, a high flyer. That ball was a high flyer.
Second home run of the summer for Zach Tellerman. 8-1 ball game now in the 9th inning.
8-1 ball game.
Vince Carter, Ryan.
Vince Carter.
Gavin Smith takes the first pitch strike, 0-1.
Yeah, so here's the jersey again.
There you go.
It's a very nice jersey. I really get to show it off. That ball was mauled.
Smith checks his swing. He went around for a strike. 0-2.
All right, here's your question.
Okay.
How many dunk contests did Vince Carter win? And I'll give you a bonus point if you could tell me the year or years.
I won't be doing that. Smith fouls it behind home plate. no balls and 2 strikes. I'm between 2 different numbers right now, and they're right next to each other.
Okay. What are they?
It's between 3 and 4.
I would go lower if I were you.
And then why is he? Smith takes it low and outside. I thought this guy is like
He is. I'll give you some more context, but it's lower.
2.
It's 1.
What?
It's 1.
That is.
Do you want to try to get the
question.
year?
Smith hits a drive into left field. That one's foul. Hey, we should talk about Vince Carter more.
Yeah. This is the lucky jersey, I guess. I'll
Keep
wear
that
this every
thing on.
game.
Let's keep the camera on the field. No more of our ugly mugs or my bad tan. 1999.
Oh,
no.
2000.
Ooh, Smith goes down swinging for strike 3, much like me on that question.
And the context is he only competed in 2. He competed in 2000 and 2001 and won the 2000 dunk contest. But he was considered a high flyer because of his in-game dunks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys in the NBA, even like still now today, like LeBron James has never competed in a dunk contest, but he's a really good dunker.
Kosei Suzuki takes the first pitch and a called strike.
You only got 2.5 points on the whole quiz, but I feel like you were so close every single time.
This one gets away from the catcher Crandall. 1-1 to Kosei Suzuki. I think we should talk about Vince Carter more. Maybe get another home run potentially. This pitch missing outside to Kosei Suzuki. 2 balls and 1 strike. From the windup, the pitch. Suzuki takes it low, 3 balls and a strike.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put on Vince Carter dunk highlights on my computer, and hopefully it helps.
I want the fans to be able to see these highlights. 3-1. Suzuki pokes it high and playable in the infield. Holland can't see it, and it drops into the dirt. No one saw the baseball off the bat from Kosei Suzuki, and it'll go down as an infield base hit.
That'll blow Kosei. A hit is a hit at the end of the day, right? The Blues will take it. They need 7 more runs in this inning, and that's a base runner.
And talk about that twilight sky. There it is in full effect. Not only was it hit into the twilight sky, but above the lights. Ryan showing me a putback Vince Carter dunk right now. First pitch to Comerford, and it's 1-0 to Brendan. Brendan has a hit today, a single in the 4th, one of the 5 Blues hits this evening. 1 for 2, a strikeout swinging in the 7th, and was hit by a pitch in the 2nd, right on the elbow. Brendan swings and misses at a sweeper for strike 1. Can we get these highlights up, right?
I don't know, but
Comerford chases for strike 2.
let me work my magic. Let's see if we can.
Oh. Here we go. Well, we got one strike left on Brendan Comerford. He's 1-2 with 1 out.
My king.
Here's the pitch. And it's left outside, and even count 2-2.
See.
Runner on first, it's Kosei Suzuki, the 2-2. Comerford takes it off the plate, and a full count, 3-2.
Those are very, very close pitches that Comerford is just laying off, and a good job to him, but wow.
Three-two. Comerford goes down swinging, strike 3. Second out of the 9th inning, second strikeout 2. Suzuki at first base. Zach Tallman homer to lead it off. And it's up to Nico Button, who's hitless today.
just under 4, or actually now right at.
There's Nico Button. First pitch swinging, he pops it up, and it won't be playable for the left side of the infield. There's strike one.
Our foul ball sponsor tonight is Welsh Engineering.
All right, the Blues need some magic, right? Trailing by 7 against the Orange County Riptide and Kosei Suzuki at first. The 0-1. Button sends it straight back for strike 2. Blues down to their last strike.
And this is what they need.
Here we go.
Oh, that we just missed the arm in the rim dunk. Let me go back. Yeah, there it is. Show the replay. Run the replay. Look, Shaq is amazed. I had his jersey on earlier. Dude!
Pitch misses high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. If the Blues rally here, I think you have to wear this Raptors jersey every single game.
I will.
Yeah.
I'll leave it in the press box. I'll let it get stinky and just sit here all summer long.
0-1-2. Button checks a swing, a ball in the dirt. Evens it up at 2-2. It smells really good right now.
Yeah, I know.
Diego Murillo stands on deck for the Blues. 9-hole hitter for San Luis Obispo. Blues down to their last out. They trail by 7 against the Tide. The 2-2. Button takes it high and outside. It gets past the pitcher, Crandall. Suzuki walks into second base. A runner in scoring position for the Blues following the wild pitch from Jack Morosi.
Pitch away, but the Blues are trying to spark something. They're still down 7.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Look at second, the 3-2. Button breaks his bat as he rolls it to the first baseman, Rodriguez. He'll take it himself to first, and the ball game is over. 8:53 p.m. is the time this one ends here at Sinsheimer Stadium. The Blues have dropped 2 in a row. 1 to the Foresters last night, 10-3, and 1 tonight against the Orange County Riptide, 8-1. These last 2 losses haven't been close for the Blues. These are 2 games that got out of hand quickly for San Luis Obispo.
An electric swing from Zach Tollerman in the 9th, but it was too little too late, and the Blues dropped their 2nd straight game to a Barons team that just got shut out by to a Riptide team that just got shut out by the Barons yesterday. The Blues almost get shut out by them, a one run in the 9th on the home run. Overall, just probably one of their worst games of the summer, in my opinion. Not hitting the ball well, not fielding the ball well. Honestly, the pitching wasn't all that bad today. They just didn't get any help from the defense.
The Blues finished this one in 2 hours and 51 minutes. They gear up for the Santa Maria Indians tomorrow, a non-conference matchup between the Blues and Santa Maria, and a familiar opponent. The Blues played them early on in the summer before starting CCL conference play. And man, they could really use a win here. They're trying to fight so hard to stay above the Menlo Park Legends, but don't look now. The Blues at one point were 3 games ahead. The Menlo Park Legends have brought it within 1 against San Luis Obispo. And after tonight's loss, about a half a game behind the Legends. So really, the name of the game for the Blues this summer, if they want to make the postseason, stay ahead of the Menlo Park Legends, because there are really 4 teams that are in the race for the playoffs, since the Alameda Merchants don't count because they're an affiliate team, even though they're in first place. And the San Francisco Seagulls are also an affiliate team too, who are 8 games outside of first place in the Alameda Merchants. So it's really, you're fighting between Sonoma and Menlo Park, and right now that's a really tight race, and this is the halfway point of the summer. So the Blues at the halfway point in the summer are 15-10, above 500, but if they want to rise above Sonoma and everyone else, they got to play better than that.
Yeah, they absolutely do. Menlo Park doesn't play today, so with the loss, they gain a half game on the Blues. And because the Blues play a non-conference team tomorrow, if they were to beat the Stompers, they get another half game and would be essentially, or they wouldn't be essentially, they would be tied for that final playoff spot with the San Luis Obispo Blues. And like you mentioned, if they want any hopes of making the playoffs, they got to figure out how to be more consistent in all aspects of the game.
Well, the Blues drop a game, their second game in a row on Jersey night in San Luis Obispo. I hope you guys had a good time and are impressed by Ryan's jersey collection. I know I am. You got a lot of jerseys in your closet, Ryan.
Yeah, no, I enjoy collecting. I've had to stop recently because I'm a little more broke than I used to be, being in college now. But, I enjoy it. I got 11 of them. I showed off. I wore 9, you're wearing 1, and then I gave another one to a different intern to wear for the rest of the day. But it's a nice little collection.
Well, it was a fun night at Jersey night. After this, the next theme night for the Blues, a SLO hop, celebrating Hawaiian heritage at Sinsheimer Stadium. Everyone wearing their Hawaiian garb to watch the Blues play under the lights at Sinsheimer. That'll do it from us here on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. The Blues drop this one 8-1 against the Orange County Riptide. They come back tomorrow to play against the Santa Maria Indians, a non-conference game between their foe from a few minutes south of SLO. Thanks for tuning in to the SLO Blues Streaming Network. Nate Mills alongside Ryan Giacomini. We'll see you guys